Hello, I'm Dan Scott, and this, my friend, is the Figma Advanced course. Now, this course is aimed at people who have either done my Figma Essentials course or your self-taught. You're pretty good, but you know that there are so many more like tools and tips and tricks and workflows and updates that you just haven't had time to explore yet. If that sounds like you, this course is for you. Who's this guy? I am Dan Scott. I am a UX designer and Figma instructor. I've won multiple teaching awards, and I've helped more than 1 million people now, just like you, to become better designers. So we're not just gonna move boxes around here, we're gonna actually build something. You'll get your own unique project and persona, and by the end, you'll have a complete app ready to drop straight into your portfolio. First, we'll use AI inside of Figma to move fast. I'm talking real efficiency, the kind that saves you hours, not minutes. We'll go deep on auto layouts and constraints, stuff that separates amateurs from pros. You'll master components and variables so tight they're impossible to break and effortless to update. We'll add visual punch, effects, typography, and micro interactions that make your design stand out. I'll show you workflow hacks for managing your assets, grids, and styles like an absolute boss. And I'll show you some of the hardware that make you faster and make you look like you know what you're doing when people walk past your desk. Ooh, look at that. You'll use variables to build light and dark modes, compact and comfortable layouts. We'll go into advanced animation, masking, and video work, the kind of stuff most UX designers don't even realize Figma can do. You'll learn to run better user tests, prototype faster, and build things that feel real. You'll understand accessibility, collaboration, developer handoff using dev mode, refactoring, and team libraries like a pro. So, are you ready to become a Figma pro? If you are, sign up and get ready to go from Figma to a Figma superhero. Don't worry, I project superhero all through the course. I've noticed that while I'm recording, I made the shirt right, and I was like, it keeps getting scrumpled up. So I do this the whole way through the course. Okay, to try and unscrumple it and project superhero-ness. So natural. Get on with the course. All right, you made it in. Welcome. Congratulations. You made a good choice. The first thing you're going to do is download the exercise files for this course. Okay, there'll be a link on this page to download those. Inside of there will be a shortcut sheet. I'll go through them in the course, but there'll be a sheet with them on there as well where you can print off and circle the ones you really like and add the ones that I've missed. Stick it next to your computer, look all awesome. I speak fast. I think I speak fast. So you can slow me down. There's a cog down in the corner here where you can click it and set the speed that I talk at. You can either put me in super slow drunk mode or chipmunk mode or leave me like this. Up to you. Figma is new-ish and just changing all the time. They love to move things around. So if you are in the course and you're like, this is not named the same, but it looks the same, it's probably the same. Or if it's moved, you might have a look around to see where it's slightly gone or renamed. Look in their comments. I might have left a comment if it's easy. If it's a big change, I'll go and re-record the course. But there are changes all the time. Figma like to do that to us. Can you do this course with the free version? You can for a bit. A lot of the course you can do on the free version, that's no problem. There will be some paid parts that we'll look at. So if you don't have that, you can just follow along. You might end up deciding, I need the paid version. But yes, it's not a waste of time doing this with the free version of Figma. I'm going to do mine on a Mac with the downloaded software. You can do it on PC in the browser. It all looks and works the same. Some of you will be coming on from the Figma Essentials course, and some of you will be jumping straight to this course because you're ready for it. The people coming on from the older course, the first course, the Essentials course, you will find that there's a tiny bit of overlap. It's when we get to kind of trickier things where we're going to push it further, things like auto layouts. We'll just cover quickly what an auto layout does and how it functions, which you've already done, okay? Just like a little recap before we go off and push it even further. So there's a couple of times we were like, have we done this? You've done a little bit of it, but we're going to take it further in this course. And I want everyone to be kind of like starting at the right start, if you know what I mean. In this course, there's a couple of level 1s and level 2s, like auto layouts. There's a level 1, level 2. The reason I do it is to break them up so that we don't go mad and spending the whole chunk of course looking at this one function, okay, components or a variable or something. Okay, so I've kind of done a level 1 where we do all the probably gonna use a lot type stuff. We'll take a break, do some other things so that we don't go crazy, but also bump into some reasons why, oh, this would be good if we could do more with that earlier thing we learned. Surprise, level 2. Where we go through it and just kind of like expand on it. So you'll see a few level 1s and 2s in this course. That's what they're for there, to split them up so we're not getting bored with the same thing, but also so that we get a chance to work with it and find the reason why we'd look to go even further with these features. Lastly, you can follow me at Figma. Okay, there's a community. Go to figma.com/@BYOL. Okay, and you don't have to, but follow me there, and that's where I'll post the finished files from this course. Okay, if you're just starting, yeah, there'll be the finished files on the course. So you can have a poke around the things that I made. It's not particularly organized, but it's sometimes handy to see the files that I've been working on, and you can take a look at them too. All right, that is it, my friends. No more talking. Let's get making. We'll see you in the next video, won't we? Hello, before we get started, I'm going to give you each unique brief to work through for the course. We're all going to build a music app. I'm going to give you your own kind of version of it so that you're not copying me and everyone's looks different. So it's good for your portfolio because it's unique. So if you go to randomprojectgenerator.com, okay, that's something me and the Bring Your Laptop team made, and you find Figma Advanced. Okay, click on it, into your village or town name. Okay, mine is Limerick, so I'm gonna say generate project. And I have got I don't even know what bluegrass is, but that's gonna be my one. Try and keep the one you get. It kind of pushes you out of maybe your comfort zone, or like it shows that, it makes it more of an intellectual kind of a project where you have to kind of think of the user. Okay, bluegrass is something that I don't know about. I'm gonna have to have a quick look at the genre, what kind of vibe has it got. It feels, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. So yeah, Limerick Brew Glass. And what it has as well down here is that it's giving you the brand to use. Okay, we're going to create a little micro brand. It's not a branding class. We're just going to use a jackal as the logo. Okay, so we're going to find pictures of jackals. We're going to find a little icon for the logo, just so everyone's unique. This is where you get it from. Don't hit reply. Oh, what's that? Retry. Okay, definitely don't hit it 3 times. Just grab it, take a screenshot of it here because it gives you exactly what we're doing. Okay, it doesn't really matter too much now. Just grab it, take a shortcut, or download it as a PNG. That's what I'm going to do, and we are going to work through the class. Yours is going to be different, but similar. You get it. All right, next video. Hi everyone, we're going to start the course looking at a feature called First Draft. Okay, it's AI driven. It's a great way to kind of get templates, get kind of started. It's more useful once you've got a few more of the skills from this course to kind of take it further, but I want to show it now because it's awesome and a great way to get started with projects. So you can see down here, I've got the prompt open, okay, and I'm going to say it's a basic app, make a checkout page for a music event app, and boom. There you go, it's made a checkout page. I can play around with the styles and fonts, okay, but it is something generated from scratch from Figma's AI. Let's jump in and look at the pros and cons of it and how to kind of get it working for you. We'll also look at the AI feature for add interactions. All right, let's go. All right, so I'm in a new blank design file. I'm in design, this little tab down the bottom here, and I'm gonna go to actions. Now this one here is a paid feature. So just watch if you're on the free one. It is, where is it? It's called First Draft. So you might search for it. I've found mine here under design tools, gonna click it. Okay, the cool thing about it, you can kind of give it some guidelines, as in, do I want a basic app or a wireframe? Okay, does it need images or not? You know, basic site or a site wireframe. Okay, we've looked at that before. High fidelity, low fidelity. So I'm gonna do an app, and I'm gonna say, I want it to be, it's an event listing app for music. And just click make it. Stand back, watch the AI bots do the little thing. Oh, that was quick. Thought we might even have to jump cut and fast. Oh, Coldplay, Taylor Swift, I'm out. Ed Sheeran, Billie Eilish. It's not my music. But what you can see here is it's actually built this unique app for you. It is generating these images. These images are like, it's AI engine making them. That's why sometimes they can take a little while and they're kind of like sparkly. But oh my goodness, it's made an app. Look at it. This is cool. Let's prototype it. Let's go, yep. Okay, and let's have a look. I like it. What works, what doesn't? Okay, it's just kind of mocked up. Doesn't do a whole lot. There's not interactivity. You can, like in the Essentials course, actually, let's look at something else. Let's look at the colors. Look at this. So that's the first colorway. Okay, you can see, you can go through and say, oh, I like these ones. It's a great way to get started. And once you'll finish this course, the advanced one, you'll be able to add all the interactivity and all the right ways to kind of get it out for designs. It's like working with a template, except the template you get to be very customized, okay? Especially with things like the colors, things like this, like make changes as well. Look, you can say actually rounded corners. I want super rounded corners, no rounded corners. We're going for the boxy look, okay? The spacing, we want to open that up. It's just very cool. What kind of fonts do you want to use? Okay, you can work through it. You can prompt it as well to say, can you add a large hero box? I don't know if this is going to work, by the way. Okay, but you can start prompting it to do stuff. It would be probably easier for me to do a lot of small changes myself. Okay, because it's done a version of it. It's not the thing I had in my head, so that's going to be the tricky part. So you can prompt away, and sometimes it's easy just to make it. Let's have a look under assets. Okay, it has got no assets for this particular document. There's no library, there's no styles for it. Maybe that'll change by the time you get to it. But now there's still a lot of work to do, but very cool way to get started once you've got some skills. You can't just be a UX designer and go, all right, I've learned nothing about Figma. I'm just going to use the prompt. Maybe that's possible in the future. I don't think so, but I want to show you that there. The other thing I wanted to show you from the Essentials course was, let's say we want to make another page. Let's go and let's select it all and delete it. And this one here, we're going to go back to our prompt again, and we're going to say, where we got first draft. Okay, and I'm going to say event unlisting in detail. Let's see, or spell it right down. There we go. All right, it's gone, and where is it? Oh, it just made a new page rather than trying to use the one that I made for it. But you can see here, has it used the same fonts? Let's have a look. Public Sans, and this one is no outfit. So it's gonna get better. You know, I'm looking forward to the time where I just need a really basic page, like a T's and C's page or a checkout page that looks like a really trustworthy one, and it can take the styles that you've already got and then apply them. That's probably not too far in the future, but for the moment, it's kind of more idea generation and you fixing it up and changing it around after now, because like everything is different. But what it can do is we can do this part here. We go into the actions and we can say, I'd like to look at add interactions. Okay, between you and you, add interactions. Okay, and it did it. Okay, so it's add the little magical interactions. So let's give it a prototype now. Let's start with this guy and go to play. And let's have a look. I can't even remember which button it was. Oh yeah, it worked. Okay, and then go back to the home. All right, so those two little things can be powerful, okay, and will be better later on. But I just want to show you earlier on in the course the kind of new things that are happening with Figma, and I can come back and update this video in the future. It's not taking our jobs, but it is shortcutting some of the things we used to do in terms of like, all right, I wonder what a good form looks like. You can start working with make a first draft, or like normal, go back to home. On the browser version, remember, go up to the F and go to home, which is at the top, okay, and you can go to the templates. There's plenty of templates out there. It's kind of the way I'm using it at the moment. It will get better. But it's new, it's fancy, and it will be more handy when your skills are even handier, and you can kind of like take what that makes and make it, you know, connect it all up with styles and auto layouts and variables. Oh, it's gonna be fun. All right, that is it for the first video. What did you think? Have a play around with it. I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, this video we're going to look at Apple's liquid glass. Okay, it is a very cool effect. Okay, and you can see here it's part of the UI, but we can do it inside of Figma as well. We're going to make this that moves around and you can kind of see through it. It's all glassy and good. All right, let's get into it. All right, first up, open up a new design file, either using the new tab, design file, anywhere you want. And from your exercise files, okay, I want you to bring in just an image. It can be anything, it doesn't really matter. I'm using this liquid glass effect, and I like to drag them in from my browser like that, just to straight into Figma. But you could use the Command-Shift-K, which is a shortcut for bringing in images, or you can go down here to the rectangle and say, you are image video. The other thing, just to kind of clear up, is that there's a couple of different modes down the bottom here. Unless I tell you, it's this middle one. We're going to be working on design. So get the image in. I've lost my image. You come in. Okay, and let's draw something over the top. Now, the liquid glass effect only works on frames, so you can't use the rectangle tool here to draw it. Okay, it needs to be done with a frame. So the F key, let's draw a big old button through the middle here. Okay, and we're just going to keep it simple for the moment. Let's just go and add the effect. Okay, so under effects, so I've got it selected, it's a frame, I can hit plus, okay, and I can go to drop shadow and we can get into this one. Ooh, glass. Oh, already it's awesome. Okay, and what we can do is just move it around. Oh, it's so cool. Let's do a couple of little things. Let's make sure I have rounded corners. To get maximum rounded corners, just put it up something really high, like 1,000, then it will round off the edges. And I'll zoom in, okay, and let's have a little look at the different effects for glass. Okay, to open up, so if I got it deselected, I click on it, and to open up the effects, okay, I click on this little icon here, boop, okay, and it will open this back up. Okay, the light, where is the light hitting it? It's up to you. How bright is the light? You can type it in or just click and hold any of these icons here. Okay, I'll leave mine at 80, and then you can just play around with these. You'll get a sense for them. There's no right or wrong. The default's great, okay, but you can play around with things like the depth, how thick is the glass, okay, ooh. Big bubbly glass, little thin sheet of glass. Okay, if you're designing for the Apple OS, you can check the specs to see what exactly it needs to be. You'll probably be better off going to the home and going to templates, okay, and then doing a search in here and typing in liquid glass. So Apple calls it liquid glass and Figma just calls it glass effect. Okay, so you're probably better off just starting with one of these because somebody else has gone through the Apple design system. Oh, there it is there. It's the kit. Just start with the kit. Okay, but for us, and let's go back to this. Okay, we can play around with refraction and depth because we're not limited by the Apple specs. Okay, one of the ones that is a bit weird is dispersion. Okay. You can see it a bit more when it's above, say, some text. Can you see the edges here? It's kind of all gray. If I go dispersion right up, kind of add some colors in there. Maybe a bit with some depth. There you go. You can kind of start to see the blue come through and a bit of yellow over here. Obviously, frost is just how blurry it is. Ooh, I do like it. The last one is the light. Can you see the little light bulb? You can drag them around, okay, depending on where you want the light to hit. Did we already do that? I think we did. All right, the only thing that might catch you out is that this needs to be on top of whatever it's trying to disperse. That's why we just started with an image, just to make things easy for the moment. Let's do something hard in the next video. Glass effect. Ooh, it's nice. Hopefully my voice has kind of got better. It's morning time, and I've got my kind of like halfway through first coffee voice. Through the course, you'll be able to actually tell what time of day it is by how much my voice has actually started to come around. All right, next video, Dan. Hi everyone, this video we're going to make this kind of glass slidey thing. It's not really what we're doing here. What we're doing here is that this is the advanced course, but sometimes all of the advanced goodness is real tricky to work with. Let's have a look at this. Okay, if I want to move this button over here, you can see there's auto layouts inside of auto layouts inside of auto layouts. It's very good and structured, but sometimes you just want like move it and then you're like, why are you in there? Stop being so complicated. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in this video. I'm going to show you how to kind of like turn off or work with some of the complicated layouts. We're doing the advanced course, but sometimes we're not quite advanced yet. We're getting towards advanced. We just need to turn some of the stuff off, or at least work within it. So let's jump in and show you how to work with complex layouts. All right. Let's go. All right, first up, you need to open up a file. There's a couple of ways of getting to it. I've put a copy of it in the exercise files. So you can double click this .fig file, okay, and open it up. Go through the steps of where you want to put it, probably put it in your drafts, click import, and then wait for a second, and then it'll say, do you want to move it to a published folder? You don't have to, or into a project. You can just click done, and it'll be ready to work with. Okay, the other way of doing it, there it is there now. Okay, I can double click it and start working. The other way to do it is if you go to figma.com/@byol, okay, you'll find the files in there as well. Whichever way you want to do it, okay, and you will find Figma Advanced FX01, okay, there'll be a bunch of other files as this course grows, okay, you can open them up and say, open up in Figma, please, and they'll open up in the browser. It doesn't really matter how you get to this file. I'm going to open it up in my desktop because I'm old school. It should be in my drafts. Where we go. And there it is there. All right. Now I give you this one because it is very complicated. It is and it isn't. Okay, this was created earlier on in the course when I was using the first draft feature inside of Figma. Okay, not everyone has access to this because it's part of the paid one, but I've got the end result here for us all to work with. The cool thing about it is that it is all auto layouts and it is very well structured. Okay, so if I grab this one and say I want shopping below food delivery, okay, I can just drag it underneath and look, they switch around because they're in auto layouts. Undo. Let's go into the shopping layer here and say, all right, this top one, bottom one, next one. Okay, I can just click the top one, hit the down arrow. And can you see it moves it around in there? So it's all very nicely structured. Sometimes though, you go in, you're like, oh, more auto layouts. More auto layouts, more auto layouts, more auto layouts. There are so many auto layouts. And where it becomes tricky is even if you are advanced, you're like, okay, I just want to move this button. Okay, like I saw at the beginning here, I'm going to move this up here. It's going to go boop, into there. All right, now it's part of that auto layout. It's not what I just want it kind of up. Oh, it's everywhere. Okay, so that can be tricky, both working with that feature, first draft, or just other people's files, or say you've just joined a big enterprise company and they've got a big design system and you're just like, oh man, this is really hard. I just need to do something simple. Stop being so clever. Okay, so what you can do, one of the nice things is you can select the parent frame, okay, and right click it and just say where is it? It's auto layouts. Oh, more auto layout options. They keep moving that and renaming it. So have a look. It'll be hidden here somewhere. We could say remove auto layout, but that'll only do it for that one frame. We want to say get rid of all auto layouts in there, and you'll find that they're all just plain old frames. Now things are just a little easier. All right, one of the other handy features was working with complex layouts. Okay, is that there's a lot of layers going on. Like still all the layers are there, which is good. Sometimes though, this button here, I just want to go in, double click, then again, double click, double click, double click. I finally find this thing called large button. Okay, and it's got some text in it. Great. I want to move it out. We're going to make it glass, okay, because I'm going to show you kind of more of a for instance of that effect we did earlier, okay, but I want it to be kind of like over the top of everything. So if I start dragging it, one of the defaults for Figma and one of the complications of working with complex files is that it will go inside of this container, which is part of the shopping checkout, okay, or you kind of put it in here and it's now part of this layer. It kind of wants to automatically nest, okay, into all these frames or auto layouts, okay, automatically, which is cool most of the time, okay, but say sometimes you just want it to kind of go where you want. You do things like this. So I'm going to undo to where it was, so you're the same as me. Okay, I found the button. There he is, all the way down here. I'm going to drag him out. I'm going to say, you get out and put you maybe in between the bottom bar and the main content. Let's get him up and out. So he is out. Okay, so he's on top of everything. But as soon as I start dragging him, he dives back into something. So he's above everything now. I can close all these down just to make everything a little bit cleaner. So I've closed everything down. My bottom bar's there. I don't really need that for the moment. And there's my button large primary. And again, remember, if I drag him, he goes inside something. What I can do is if I click him, okay, before I start dragging, I've clicked my mouse down, hold spacebar, okay, then you can just drag him around anywhere you want. He won't miss, I can't really point at the layers over there, but he won't move off the layers, okay, and I can put him wherever I want. I can say, you go there now. You see, he didn't jump inside any other layers. I find those two things are kind of the most important when it comes to working with other people's complex files or using some of the automatically generated files, templates, okay, is just to go to auto layouts, remove them, and when you start dragging things around, click, hold spacebar, move them around, okay, and then he won't jump layers. Cool, that's it. Now what I want to do is do the thing I showed at the beginning where we had the glass button and it was moving along. So let's do that together. So a couple of things I need to do is my button's going to stay up here. What I might do is just lock these layers just so I don't have to hold the space bar. I can just drag it around and there's nowhere it can go. Okay, and a couple of things I need to do is let's just preview it now. So I'm going to click on the app. I'm going to say, let's open up the preview. Okay, so that's shift space and it should stay open there. Okay. You'll see if I scroll up and down, it is working. If yours is not working like that, what you can do is click the outside, go to prototype. Actually, let's click on the background. Okay, and I'm going to say, make sure, so I got nothing selected. Prototype settings, I'm going to use this one here, the iPhone 16. Okay, and that's fine. You can use whatever one you want. Let's open my preview again. And still working. If that's not working, okay, sometimes you got to go in here and say, actually, scroll behavior. Okay, I want to scroll vertically. Okay, so that it does actually start scrolling. Put it up again, we're all good. Next thing I want to do is I want to get this to stick to the bottom. How do I do that? Because if I have it selected and I grab this button here and I say, actually, I want you to be aligned with the bottom of this. At the moment, it's constrained to the top. Okay, so U, a constraint to the top, which is gonna work probably. Okay, so I'm gonna say U, I'm in prototype. What I can say is I want you position to scroll parent. Nope, I want you to stay in place. I can prototype it. And now when I scroll, can you see stays in place? Ooh. Let's make him all glassy. Okay, so let's click on him. Let's go to design. Okay, let's go down to effects. Now remember, this has to be a frame for this to work. Can't be a rectangle. I'm gonna go to drop shadow, gonna go to glass. Ooh, I do like it. Okay, so I'm gonna crank up the depth. The frost is about perfect. Everything looks good by default. Do like sliding refraction up and down though. Look at that, that's cool. All right, now let's go and preview him again and scroll him up and down, and he does the cool glassy thing, but stays kind of where he should be. Now, how do I get him to align to the bottom? Okay, so let's close that down. Let's go U. I need to find out where the bottom is. So if I click off, okay, and I go to prototype, I can see iPhone 16 is, what is it? 393 by 852. So I can click on U and say, actually, under design, the size of this frame should be 393 by 85292. I can't it was only a second ago, I can't remember. We're gonna guess 852. Come on, brain. Okay, can you see that? It's clip contents. You can turn that on and off. Okay, so at least I know where the bottom is now, so I can say you are going to be down here. I could hold shift so he doesn't jump into all the different frames, but remember I locked those layers, so it's not a big problem. Now he's constrained to the top. See that dotted line? I can say you constrain to the bottom because we have a bottom now that he can constrain to. It doesn't really matter. Shift spacebar, and oh, look at us doing cool glassy effect things on really complicated designs. Okay, select the parent, right click it, go to more layout options and go to remove all auto layouts. Okay, and when you're dragging around, hold shift while you're dragging. He won't dive into all the different frames and auto layouts. And add a sweet glass effect. You can see mine's got a red tinge, which is coming from this. Okay, my fill, which has been turned down, you could turn this back to white to get that kind of more traditional glassy effect. Maybe a little bit of blue. All right, I hope that was useful. We kind of touched on some things we learned in the Essentials course, like constraints, played around with prototyping, and making sure we can jam a little prototype into an iPhone, which always looks cool. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Hi there. Hey, I just wanted to bump in here and see how you're doing. How are you doing? If you're enjoying the video, well, you made it this far, can't be too bad, right? If you are enjoying it, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's free for you and it's like super valuable for me. It's my ask of you at this point. And if you did want to go further, this video that you're watching, this YouTube video, is quite long, right? This is just the first quarter of the course. So much more value in the full course. So if you did want to go further, enjoy hanging out, you can pick it up here. There'll be a link in the description. The bonus of doing the full course is all the extra videos, obviously, but also there is a quiz question, kind of test your knowledge as you go through, have it real sink in. Your class projects, the website has a place for you to submit and get feedback on those projects, which is super valuable. What else? Also, there is the really important, well, I don't know, I think it's important, certificate at the end, okay? There is a certificate, there's a merit certificate and a distinction certificate. So check that out, link in the description. Not ready to go for the full course? Don't worry, it's all right. Heaps more to come. Get on with the free stuff, Dan. All right, more free stuff. Hi everyone, let's look at a couple of cool effects. One is this noise that we've applied to the background image, kind of gives it an old school look. The other one is this texture, so we can get this like really cool glass effect. Like we're peeking through the toilet window of the camper. Look how cool it looks. Ooh, awesome. All right, let's jump in and learn texture, noise, and some of the effects the layer order has on these effects. Let's jump in. All right, to get started, you can just have any image. We're going to use the glass effect as well for this texture and noise effect. But if you do want to follow along exactly, there's an effects02.fig. Okay, in your exercise files, you can open that up in Figma. Okay, or you can find me, member at figma.com/@byol, and you can open up this file, okay, and open your own version of it in Figma. Okay, so I've got this button. Okay, it has got the glass effect applied to it. Okay, it is effect, and I've added glass. The other new effects, if I hit plus, okay, you can have more than one effect applied to an object. Okay, and I can say I don't want to drop shadow, which is cool. Okay, I do like the drop shadow. Okay, but I'm going to go to the one that says texture. Okay, and you can kind of see, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, what's happening to it? Let's crank it right up. Okay, the texture is kind of like frosted glass. Okay, and that's what it does. Okay, get to that kind of like stippled, dimpled, whatever you call it. Okay, and you can play with both these settings. You need a bit of both. The one thing that does look a bit weird is the edges of this. Okay, and there's a mixture of, if I open up a texture again, okay, a mixture of clipping to the shape, okay, so that it doesn't go outside of it, and going back to glass, okay, and playing around where the light source comes from, okay, and turning that up and down. It depends on every instance. There's not a special number, but it is very cool. The other one you can do is, let's have a look. So effects, let's add a third one. Let's look at noise. Okay, noise, you can see, add some noise. Okay, so in this case, it's interesting. I wanted to show you here because noise is interesting. You can play around with just a monocolor, a duo color. So there's two of them. Okay, and multicolor is going to work with kind of all sorts of, you can see in here, the noise is a bunch of different colors. Okay, so it gives it kind of a grainy old school effect. The reason I want to show you this is I'm going to crank this up, noise size, just so you can see it. Okay, you can play around with some effects. You can play around with the order. So at the moment it's doing noise then texture. You can say actually by dragging this strange little area over here with the little handers, you can say and drag it up and above like layers. Okay, so it's going to do the texture first and then the noise. You might just find that you can't get the effect you want. You're trying to copy somebody else's. It's because this order is around different ways. Glass in this case doesn't seem to make any difference which way it is. Okay, but some of them do. What noise is probably nicer for is for something like this kind of retro image here. I can say my friend, have an effect, and it's going to be the noise. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit and you can start to see it gives it an old school retro kind of vibe. Turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. You get it. One of the things about this setting, okay, where we've got the texture on, I'm going to turn the noise off. I'm going to delete it by hitting the minus. I like the texture. I don't so much like the noise on it. But let's say I do this. Okay, if I want to, at the moment it's a frame. Let's say I want to put text inside of it. So I'm going to grab my T for the type tool, click inside, and I'm going to say, book now, book. Okay, see what happens? You're doing it to the parent has got the texture. Okay, so everything inside of it, unfortunately, gets the effect applied to it as well. So if I want to do it like this, I can't do fancy auto layouts. The text needs to be inside of it. So all I need to do is do the text over here outside of it. Book now, back to the move tool and put it on top, not inside. Okay, one thing I didn't notice is that the image was a frame and now the button's inside of it. And because I applied the image to have an effect on it, it's applying to everything inside of it. Can you see my text has even got the noise effect on it? So again, if I didn't want that, I'd have to grab these two guys and go yoink, you're out of there and you're on top. And I picked a different font. There you go, that is the texture and noise effects. And you just need to know, especially everything inside of Figma, is that you can often change the layer order of these things. You can have two fills, okay, and then play around with, let's go this one. I can crank this right up, okay, and if it's on top, it's very different if it's underneath. It's not that different, is it? Let's turn that up. Okay, so if the white's on top or the white's below, it is very different, okay? All of these have it, and it's not that clear that you can move them along. There you go. Undo, undo, undo. We made a cool button that now I might need to group. Right click, group. Zook. Now they move around together. Excellent. All right, that is it. I'll see you in the next video. I'm back because I wanted to show you something. I was just getting ready to do the intro for this course, for this video. I do that at the end so you can see what we make. And I was just making it look better because I was like, yeah, something a bit about this. And then I was like, oh, I made it better. Oh, I should show them. Okay, so I've got this thing selected. Okay, so I've got the button selected. There's a couple of things going on here. So there is this little fill that's left on this. It started life at 100%. It automatically, when you apply the glass effect, turns it down to 10%. Okay, I could get rid of that and it kind of gives it this more glassy kind of effect. I like it. Okay, the other thing is this like weird little border around it that appears a little bit too strong. Okay, if I go in and click on this, I can see the glass. Under texture, okay, radius, if I turn that right down or up, can you see what it's doing here? Okay, I've somehow picked this like really weird point where it's the most horrible. So you can crank it up and it kind of goes away, and when it's really low, it goes away. To find something that works for you, you can play obviously around with size as well. Okay, but if you get it kind of smaller and play around with the radius, big or small, it just, I don't know. I was like, that's what I was looking for. And my text needs a drop shadow. It's not so blurry. It doesn't go down so far. All right, that is it. Now we can finish the video. See you in the next one. Look how cool it is. Ooh. Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at something called progressive blur. It is this, where color kind of becomes progressively blurrier. You can do it with images as well. It's really easy and really quick, and we'll do that first off. If you do though want to hang around, we'll make this where we kind of go a bit further in this tutorial just to recap some of the nice things we learned earlier in the Essentials course, just to catch everyone else up. There are some paid features that we go through, some AI. It's worth hanging around if you're a little bit newish to Figma. If you just came here for the progressive blur, do that at the beginning and then skip on to the next video. All right, that is it. Let's get in. Let's make blur progressively. All right, you'll notice that my UI is dark. I figured I'd show you just before we get started. I switched mine at nighttime. You have to have a file open, go to the F key, go down to preferences, and under theme, you can go between light and dark. It's nighttime now, and the light one is actually really light in my office, so I just kind of turn it down. Remember, file open, preferences, theme, dark. With nothing selected, you can change the color of your page. Okay, it might be default be white, but you might be wanting to work on a darker color here. Cool. Let's grab the F key, click once. Let's grab our iPhone 16. I like this, the kind of white contrast against the black. Let's bring in an image. So Command-Shift-K is one that I use a lot, or I drag it in. The problem with dragging it in, if it's a really high resolution image, it comes in massive. So Command-Shift-K is a really good shortcut. We're gonna bring in this 03, okay, and we're going to go open. The reason I do it this way is I can click and drag it to be a size that I want, roughly about that sort of size. Now let's just make it progressive blur, and then we'll make it look like it did in the intro. So all you need to do is another effect here. Okay, you can go from drop shadow down to text to layer blur. That's the one we want. Okay, and hiding in here is progressive. Okay, and what you can do is even just like that, it's pretty cool, right? It starts at the top really crisp, and you can see down the bottom here, it's blurry. You can drag these little points around. Okay, so from left to right, you can hold shift and it will snap into straight lines. Okay, so you can do cool stuff. It doesn't have to be an image. Okay, if I can grab the F key for the frame tool, holding shift, so it's a square. Okay, give it a fill color, any old fill color over here. Okay, as long as it's green, greenish. Come on, green, teal, aqua, that one. Okay, we can do the same thing. Oh, let's do a shortcut. Okay, let's have this selected. I've got an effect. I can click here and it kind of goes blue. Can you see this like area that we used it earlier on to drag it around? You can click on it, copy it, click on this and hit paste. You can copy and paste styles. Come on. Okay, and we'll do it. We'll go in and we'll affect this one a bit more, and it does a really cool thing. So if you grab end, okay, and drag it right up, can you see it kind of like really blurs out? It's a very cool effect. I don't get to use it very often. It does work in code. Okay, so your developers is going to freak out a little bit about having to apply it, but it is achievable reasonably easy with CSS. And that's progressive blur. What we're going to do now is kind of style it how we had before. So there's a little bit of a recap on some of the things we learned in the Essentials course, just for those people who need a recap, or if you skip the Essentials course because you're already really good, you might want to check out the rest of this video in case there's something you've missed. So I want to keep that. It just looks cool. Oh, it looks even cooler against the dark. Love it. So what I want to do is I want to make this square. So I need to make this cropped. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to fill, which is my image. So I got it selected. There's the fill. Okay, I'm going to click on image and I'm going to go up to here where it says fill. I'm going to say you're not filled, you're cropped. And then I can drag in this edge here. Okay, and how big do I want it to be? At the moment, mine is 1616. Oh, so 116 tall. So I'm going to make mine 116 wide. It is a square. Now, so that's dragging the edge of it. The edge of it is the crop. If you drag anywhere in the middle, you can move it around inside of the crop. So I'm going to drag mine so that this is right in the middle here. I'm going to click out in the background, and now it's a square with this thing. I think I want to play around with the layer blur, progressive layer blur, and kind of make it big like I did in this one. And you can see you can start it anywhere. It could be here. Because this is meant to be like a generic genre listing, not an actual artist, I might have to kind of start it quite far in to give the vibe of hip hop, but not actually show the artist. All right, I want to scale it down. Whenever I scale images, this will work, but whenever I do scale things, I use the K tool. So K on your keyboard to switch from the move tool to the scale tool, just to scale all the effects and everything. It's just a really good habit to be in. That's probably how I want my one. Let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, I want to add a F key for this because I want a little box for the genre. Get it to snap to the top. Pick a color, any color, as long as it's green. You can hit the I on your keyboard for the eyedropper. Just grab that. Oh, it's too blue. I want it to be a little bit more on the green side. Oh, that's it. I'm going to type some type stuff. So type tool, click once. I'll actually speed through this because you don't have to watch me type. One thing I do want to pause and show you, we did very little speeding, is I really like fonts, okay, that are like Roboto I like because it has a condensed version. Okay, condensed is just really handy when you're trying to fit lots of type in. Can you see it's actually just, you know, in this other font, can you see how much wider it was? Whereas in a condensed font, there's lots of condensed fonts. You can in here just actually type in, not Roboto, just type in condensed to see all the different kinds of condensed fonts. And some of them are super condensed. Like, see that one there? You'll be able to fit a lot more. There's condensed and compressed. Compressed. I think compressed is smaller than condensed. I'm not sure I can't remember the language, but what are we doing? Condensed, okay? And it's just, yeah, you can fit more text into what is a limited space, especially on a phone, okay? Because it's that weird aspect ratio. It's narrower than it is tall, right? So let's undo. So we've got my thing actually speeding again. We did no speeding again. I like using the same font with different weights. So still Roboto condensed. One is light, one is bold, using the hierarchy of size. Less important, more important, playing with the weight, okay, light and bold. Again, you can skip ahead if you're already really good with this sort of stuff. I'm just kind of, I don't know, adding some extras. Actually, keep along because there's the AI thing that's really cool. I'll play around with the line height and just drag it to the left. Not the line height. I'm going to play with the line height, select it all, and line height, I'm going to type in -50. Way too much. I'm going to type in, you see you can just type over the top of it. Okay, so I can type in actually let's just put in 16. I'm going to hold shift and use my up arrow just to find something. What are we doing? 24. I'm not holding the shift arrow now. I'm just using my up and down arrow just to get the line height where I want it to be. Something like that. All tips we kind of did in the Essentials course, but hey, we'll throw them in here at the beginning. Okay, escape a couple of times to get out of the type tool. I'm going to click this. It's going to be in here about there. Now what I want to do is I want to make a few of these. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to grab, is that big enough? Shift 0 on your keyboard will be the automatic to getting to 100%. Okay, so hold shift. 1 is fit all in screen. Number 2 is to select something and zoom all in on that. So that's shift 2, and shift 0 on your keyboard goes to 100%. I like that one. So the font size is probably big enough. If I want to just grab them both and make them bigger, hold the K tool, remember, for scale, just go zook, and they both get a little bit bigger in terms of the fonts. Arrow to move it around. All right, let's make a few versions of this. So I'm going to select it all, grab my Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC to duplicate it, drag it straight down. Okay, I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. That'll do for the 4, 5. Okay, for the moment, what I want to do is, can you just click on the boxes themselves? Let's just see if we can select on all of these. Okay, now this is a paid feature. All of this stuff often is. Okay, see under actions. Okay, let's go down to first draft. No, let's go to rewrite this. Okay, click on it, and I'm going to say, what do I want you to do? I want you to speed typing. 5 genres of music. Let's see if it can do it without having to select just the text. Oh, it can. It's doing it. It took away all of my other things. Damn it. Okay. It didn't do that when I practiced it. So I'm going to have to build mine slightly differently. Mistakes, people. Okay. So actually, it's probably always just going to be easier if I grab you. Put that there, paste the text. So they're in 2 separate text boxes. Let's zoom out. How is my line spacing? A little bit higher. Oop, a little bit higher. All right, now let's do it. So let's grab you and go you down here. So I'm holding the Option key, Alt key on a PC, and then I'm going to go Command D. Did I say that before? Or Control D to duplicate the thing we just did. Okay, how many I got now? 6. Okay, now I need to select all just the text. Okay, I just want just the hip hop. I don't want it to change the word genre. Okay, so with this selected, I want to select this. So hold shift and I click on it. It grabs the whole thing. You're like, no. I just want to grab the text inside of there. So let's click on this first one. Okay, this guy here by double clicking him. Okay, then if you hold shift and your command key or shift and control, you can click on you and you and you and you and you. So I've got them all selected. Now I can go to rewrite. I can say, you rewrite this. I want you to say speed typing, genres of music. I'm scared it's going to replace my first one. That says hip hop. It is, isn't it? That's okay. Oh, geez. Make changes. 2 words only. Way too long. It's cool, huh? So good for placeholder text. I like it. Probably gonna have to pick, it's really good as well because you get a sense for how long some of the things are gonna be. So you're like, oh, that was cool for hip hop, but all of these really need to be a smaller font size, probably 24, to be able to fit everything in. Oh, we did a lot in this course, huh? We came from progressive blur. And now, using AI, we're learning all sorts of cool shortcuts. It's the advanced course. This is awesome. It's full of soul beats and bass vibes and chill grooves. All right, that is it. I will see you in the next video. All right, it's first of the class projects time. Okay, so the class projects are listed inside of the exercise files. There's a PDF called class projects. Okay, it'll look something like this. And this is the first one. Okay, so I want you to create a mobile phone frame. Basically, I want you to remake what we did in the last tutorial. Okay, so this thing, okay, but specifically for your brief. So mine is limerick hip hop. Okay, so I want you to focus on that and then find out whatever the sub kind of genres are for it. Like this, for instance. So techno, you might have dub techno, acid, industrial. These are all types of techno. Okay, rock, there's a lot of subcategories. You don't really know the music genre you're working with. Do some Googling. I bet you will find there are subcategories of it. If not, make them up. That's not really what's important here. I want you to experiment with the progressive blur. Okay, so I don't mind how you do it. Okay, you can do it exactly like I've done it. Just play with it. I don't mind how you do it. If you do have the pro account, okay, I'm going to assume in this course you do have the pro account. If you don't, you can totally carry on with it. I'm not going to apologize every time saying if you don't have it, try and find a workaround, okay, because you can. Okay, if you can't do the AI features with rewrite this, that's okay. You've seen how it works. You might use ChatGPT instead, which is free. That's the main thing, which everyone has. Okay, but the AI features, and some of them in this course are pro only. But if you do have them, go play with them. Have a play around with rewrite this, okay, which is when we did the text, and I did it with the images as well. You can select on these and either go to the actions and go to make an image, or you can select on an image already, go to the fill and say make an image, okay, and you can use AI to create the image. Or go to something like Unsplash or Pixels. You will find lots of free images that you can use for filling out your prototype. Okay, where's the class projects? So you need to do that. Definitely do progressive blur. Play around with the AI features. Deliverables, I want you to take a screenshot or export your image and upload it to the class projects. Screenshot on a Mac is Command-Shift-4, and you can kind of drag a box around it. You can do something similar on a Mac with print screen. I think that's how you do it. I know there's another shortcut for PCs. You'll probably know what it is. If you don't, okay, you can just export the image. So I can select on this. Ooh, it would look really good. Oh, I didn't think of this. If you went to present and it was in a phone, we learned earlier how to turn that on. This would look cooler, huh? Do a screenshot for this. Otherwise, okay, if you're not sure how to screenshot, you can click on the frame, go down to, is it export? Okay, I want to export this whole frame, scroll down again. What kind of size? Just at one size, and I'm going to do a PNG. I'm going to click export iPhone 16, and there you go. You can use that file to upload to the class projects. For the class project, yeah. Because everyone's is unique and it's kind of an interesting project, I'd love for you to share it on social media, okay? Tag me with both the hashtag Figma Advanced, so I kind of makes it easier for me to kind of group and look at specific courses, but make sure on Instagram, the Facebook group, Twitter, make sure you tag me at these handles here, okay? Whichever is your normal flavor, okay? Your Instagram or a LinkedIn or a TikToker, up to you, but I'd love to see it. All right. Have fun. It is mainly just about playing around with the progressive blur. You could go a little bit further and make this a lot cooler in terms of a genre page. We're keeping it light for those of you who don't have much time, but if you're all ready to play, you can make this page a little bit nicer. If you're unsure about how to do these, you know, what do I just copy down? What should I do? You can have a little look online for some inspiration. A good term is something like UI card. We'll just go through the back at home. Okay, you can go through the templates, just have a little look. So I might go listing. That didn't really work. You can kind of see there some different ways of cards is probably better. Cards is the generic term for like anything inside of a box. Okay, and you can start to see some interesting kind of maybe even feature cards. Let's do that. Feature cards. Even better, a little bit more specific, okay? And you can see some things like, oh, I might do that with this and then the bottom, okay? Up to you. It can be simple, can be complex. Looking forward to seeing what you make. All right, class project over. I'll see you in the next video. Hi everyone, we are going to turn the effects that we made in the last video into a style so that we get to reuse them and we get to change them all at once, which is I'm going to go to uniform, to perspective. Actually, the word is progressive. Okay, but we have control over them all. And then I'll show you how to remove any style libraries that have been added to your file that get a little bit confusing. Styles that you didn't ask for. And then I'll show you how to remove all the styles that you didn't ask for that all just appear in your libraries. And you're like, where do these come from? I'll show you how to clear them out so we've only got the things that we've created as styles. All right, let's jump in. All right, so in the last video we made some styles. I made a couple. I made some drop shadow ones as well. But let's take this progressive blur. Okay, you can see it here. It's been applied to my fix panels. Okay, these 4 little dots, okay, is the way we can create and use styles. Now we're doing it for effects. We can do it for stroke and fill and anything that has little dots on it. Okay, so I'm going to click on effects. Okay, and I'm going to say I would like to add a new style effect. Okay, it's different from hitting the plus over here. Okay, we go into the dots, hit plus, we say, yeah, we're going to call this one. I'm going to call this one my. I'm going to call this one 01 because I'm bound to create another one and another one and I need to differentiate them. Sometimes I'll put the client name in front of it just so I know that's the version of drop shadow that I'm using for Bring a Laptop or whatever company it is. Okay, you can describe it down here as well. Let's click create style. The cool thing about it is that we can go through and say, all right, a new thing that we draw. I'm going to go with the F key. Remember, progressive blur only works on our frame. No, that's something else. Oh, that's the glass effect. Okay, so I'm going to go to effects here. Instead of hitting plus and kind of going through and setting it all now, I can just go to the little dots, okay, under effects, and I can say progressive blur. There you go, done, reusable. The other cool thing about setting styles is that let's apply these styles. Oh, they're already applied. That one's progressive blur. That one's got layer blur, progressive blur. Layer blur, progressive blur. No, that one's got it. Oh, because I created the style from this one. These ones don't have it applied. So I'm going to apply all of these ones. Okay, I'm going to say I would like to remove the effect and I want to apply, not the random layer effect. I want to add the thing that I've made called progressive blur. All right, so now they're all connected. What I would like to do is change them all at once. Okay, so I've got nothing selected, absolutely nothing. You can see over here, as long as I'm in design, you might be stuck on draw or dev. Okay, make sure you're on this design one. Okay, under design, you will see all your styles listed, okay, that you've used. The cool thing about it is I can say, oh, look at this. I've got little settings here. I can say edit this style. Okay, I can go into it and say I would like it to end. Actually, what's going to be more obvious? Let's go to uniform. Okay, so I switched to uniform and they've all updated. That's a great way of controlling a really large document. Okay, create a style and then you get to edit it by having nothing selected and go through your styles. Okay, I just wanted to recap that. We didn't do it in the Essentials course for effects, but we did it for lots of other things. If you're skipping straight to the Advanced course, what you'll find is, let's say I've got this, it's a color that I like. Okay, instead of typing it out every time, you can go to styles, do the exact same thing, hit plus, and this is going to be my primary color. Okay, and I can create a style, and then I can start reusing that when I draw a new frame. I can just go into here, hit the styles button, and bam, we've got primary color. Okay, so that's all we'll do for that. All right, the next thing I want to show you is I want to show you how to remove some of the default libraries that are giving you style suggestions if you want to clean those out. Okay, it might be just there by default. It might be there because you've opened up somebody else's document, maybe a larger project you want to kind of clean up. So what we'll do is we'll click on this one, okay, and if I hit the under effects, okay, I'm going to, actually it doesn't matter which style we go for. I'm going to go for the fill. Okay, what you'll see is like, can you see there's lots of other ones down here? Like, where do these come from? Okay, you might not have anything, okay, but you might have this giant list already. Okay, and you're like, actually, I just want to tidy that up. You can go to all libraries, okay, and you can go to the ones that are created in this file. And we'll just tidy them up. So you're only showing the ones in this file, not all libraries that you might have as part of your kind of job. We'll do libraries specifically later on, but it's just nice to tidy things up early on. So have a look at this one. Let's break the link to the style. Let's go into here. Okay, the same thing under here. Okay, my fixed styles, there's all sorts of stuff in here. So I can go into my library, okay, and say, actually, I don't want, I'm going to remove the libraries from this. Oh, go back. Okay, I'm going to remove this one and this one. These are team libraries that have been shared with me in this document. We'll cover team libraries later on, but sometimes you just want to tidy them up, go away, and I've only got progressive blur now. Nice. All right, so that's adding effect styles and just styles in general.
The benefits of them, it means that once they're applied, well, first of all, you get to apply them really easily. And once they are applied, you get to edit them all at once. And we looked at clearing off any styles that are connected to your document that you didn't ask for. All right, that is it. I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at all the tips and tricks that I can think of. I'm going to cram them all into a video. If you're already good with the tips and tricks, you can skip along. It's a very long video, I feel bad. But there are a lot of tips and tricks. And a bonus for anybody that waits to the end, I'll show you this. It's like a little keyboard that I've got for Figma, and I'll show you what it's useful for. It's very cool. But it's a bonus for sitting through all the tips and tricks. This is either going to be your most valuable video for the course, or you might nod off because it's so long. Let's jump in. Good sales pitch, Dan. Hairy hands alert. Video time. All right, to get started, open up any old file. We're going to open something quite complicated to kind of prove all the great shortcuts. In your exercise files, there is a link here called Workflow Demo. You can open up anything. I just really like this file. It is in your exercise files. It is called Workflow 01. Okay, either way, you'll be here inside of Figma. Okay, and over here on the pages, let's go down to the design. Okay, we'll cut to this one. This is the one I like. Very cool. The problem with starting with somebody else's file, okay, or working for a large company is that sometimes it can be quite complicated to change any old thing, especially when there's no styles. What you can do though is one of the easy ones is to select a whole chunk of stuff, okay, and over here, instead of playing with a fill, because you've got mixed things selected, obviously you've got loads of things selected. What you can see here under selection colors, okay, if you've got a lot selected, there might be a little drop down like this, but you can see here are all the colors inside of there. There is my primary color or my accent color. I'm not sure exactly what they've called it. Actually, it has no name, just got the hexadecimal number. So we can click on this and say, actually, I would like you to be green or blue. Okay, it's just a real quick way of working with lots of files rather than doing the dreaded shift click on that one, hold shift, grab that one. Who's done that? That takes too long. Another really handy one is let's click on this box here. Okay, I'm zoomed out quite far. I love the shortcut Shift 2. Okay, that will zoom into whatever you have selected. If you have a tiny thing selected, so if I hold Command and click on this little dot, that jumps inside the group. Okay, that's Control on a PC, Command on a Mac. And if I hit Shift 2, it's not really that useful. Okay, so Shift 1 is, because it zooms it out to show everything. Shift 2, right into the thing you have selected. Shift 0 is to 100%. That is a really good one. So Shift 1, 2, and 0. 1 is everything on the document, 2 is the thing you have selected, and 0 is 100%. Perfect. Okay, let's click on, let's say we've got this here. Let's click, I'm holding Command on my Mac, Control on my PC. That just jumps in because there's a group, inside of a group, inside of a group, inside of a group, and you might die for all the double clicking. Okay, so you have nothing selected, just hold down Command or Control, click on that. Then you can go up to Edit, okay, and there's a Select All with. This is super handy. You can say, actually, I want everything that has the same text properties, okay? And it's gone through the entire page that we're at. I'll zoom out a little bit. What else is there? It's just those guys. But it just means I don't have to go and shift click them all. I can say, actually, we're going to use, I don't know, Acme for this one. Oh, I don't like Acme. I'm wrecking this man's work. I think he's under introduction. There he is there. Jayesh Patel, you made a cool template. Thanks for sharing. All right, other cool tips. So let's come down and let's grab one of these buttons. So I'm going to double click away. Okay, this is a bunch of stuff. It is more than just text. It's got a padding around it, so you can go to edit and select, and there's a bunch of other different options in here. We won't cover them all, but imagine if it has a drop shadow, you could go through and pick everything that has the same effect. It's going to go to same properties, okay, and it's picked every component that kind of looks the same. Properties a bit more generic, okay, it's got the same fill color plus the padding plus the corner radius. I think that's it for the whole document. Let's try one more. Let's grab the circle here. Let's go to edit, select with, and let's go to fill. And you'll find that lots of this document has the same fill, kind of similar to what we did before by using the selected color. Very cool. One of the things I get asked is, you see how Jayesh has split everything with these pages here? Let's go back to one of our old files. I'm going to go back to this one we made. Okay, I've only got one page. What we can do is page dividers. So I've got this one. This is my hi-fi. Let's speed through this. Okay, so I'm going to have a components page. It's going to be the top. I want to separate it from my kind of working docs. So I'm going to add a page, and all you do is page 3. Okay, to divide these up, you can put the hyphens in like Jayesh did, or I like to hold shift and hit the underscore button, and it kind of looks more like a page divider. If you want to get even fancier, okay, you can add emojis to any of these. Say components, you want to find something, actually do it to mobile here. On a Mac, it's Control Command Spacebar, okay, and this will pop up. Okay, it's a little emoji guy, and you can double click on any of these. So I'm going to type in mobile and find something mobile phony. Oh, is that a mobile phone? Yeah. Okay, double click on it and it will go into wherever you have your cursor going. So you double click. Oh, got two of them. Okay, on a PC, it is have your cursor flashing inside of here and then hold down the Windows key and hit either, I think it's period or semicolon, one of those two. That looks nothing like a phone. You get the idea. And for components, you got to put puzzle pieces. There you go. All right. Hiding the UI is useful. It's Command and backslash, okay, or Control backslash on a PC. Okay, it just hides it while you're working. Doesn't change anything. You can still work if you know your shortcuts. Any of these shortcuts have changed, okay, while in between recording this video and where you're watching it. Have a look at this question mark down the bottom. Go to keyboard shortcuts and just have a look through there. They'll explain all of the different shortcuts. They're blue if you've used them, okay. They're dark if you haven't used the shortcut, okay. There you go. So I'm going to turn my UI off because once you've got the UI off, it becomes a little bit tricky to use, but you've got more space, especially on a laptop. But that's where the super most awesome shortcut that ever lived is. Okay, it's called the quick actions. Okay, it is basically a shortcut to getting to this button here. Okay, so let's close it down. So the quick actions, let's go. The one I use it for the most, it's pretty boring. I'm gonna Command or Control click the word I'm Jenny. Okay, just the top here, and I'm going to use my quick actions, which is Command K or Control K on a PC. I'm going to type uppercase, okay? Otherwise, that menu takes forever to find uppercase, but you can use it for anything. Anything in any of the menus. I'm going to click this top menu bar here, okay, and I'm going to say Command K, and I'm going to say rotate, okay, 90 degrees to the left. Not sure why, okay, but everything is in there. Last one, Command K, and let's translate it to, I don't know, let's go to Portuguese. There you go. Undo and done. Not everyone might have translate. It might be a pro feature now that I think of it. But as uppercase, that's free for everyone. Okay, who remembers how to turn the UI back on? That's right, Command or Control backslash. That's where it's leaning back. Not forward slash. All right, the next is a relatively new update. Okay, I'm going to Command click this button at the top here. Okay, it is a component of a master. I didn't make it, so I have no idea where it is. Or imagine if there was a great shortcut. Ready? Shortcut, toggle back and forth. What is the shortcut? Okay, it is on a Mac. You hold down all the buttons, Command, Option, Control, all three of them in the bottom left, okay, and hit K. On a PC, it's slightly different. It's Control, Alt, Shift, K. Have a look at your keyboard. It's a hard one to remember, but if you are doing a lot of kind of adjusting components like I do, you will like the shortcut and you will get used to it. Remember, there'll be a shortcut sheet in your exercise files that I'll put all of these in. I just love being able to toggle back and forth really quick. Anything else? Got any other components? This one here. You're not. This one is all the buttons plus K. Toggle back and forth. Ooh. Another new one is you can copy and paste styles now. We've only made a couple of styles here. Okay, but if you've made a bunch for your document, you can select on them, copy them, okay, and you can select multiple ones. I don't have multiple ones. Make multiple ones, Dan. Yep, right there. Drop shadow. Okay, so I can select two of these guys. Okay, just click on the top one, hold shift, grab this bottom one, right click it, and I can say copy styles, move to another document, have nothing selected, and then just hit your normal paste. Okay, Command V on a Mac, Control V on a PC. Okay, copying and pasting any sort of style. Nice. All right, let's do some super fancy field work. I'm going to go back to the document I was working at. I have no idea where everything is. Oh, I created a new page. There we go. Let's look at all the fields. So let's start with a title. You wait there. All right, so I've added a bit of text. All of these fields are adjustable by just clicking in them, okay, and just using your up arrow. I like this when I'm picking fonts because I'm not actually sure what size I'm doing yet. I'm just holding the up arrow or the down arrow. So just click in any of them. Okay, you could do it with letter spacing as well. Just use your up arrow, okay, or your down arrow. You can do it for any single field. Okay, so this position here, let's say X and Y, okay, up and down, moves it left and right. If you want to go in bigger chunks, you can hold the shift key. Okay, it's the large nudge or big nudge. Okay, and it will go up in multiples. Can you see here of 8? That works for anything. Rotation, I wanted to go up. Okay, it doesn't do an 8, but the holding shift does. 1, okay, just holding nothing down using your arrow key. moves it in ones, okay, but if you hold shift, it'll move it in a bigger chunk. Okay, a lot of us are using the 8-point grid. Okay, so when we are moving things along like position, okay, it'll go in, let's start at 100, okay, and click in here, hold shift, okay, you can see it's gone up an 8, down an 8. Let's move this over so it's a little easier for the editor. Sorry, editor. And saying that, I'm going to zoom right back out and we're going to go to preferences. So go to little F, go to preferences, and down the bottom here, something called the nudge amount. Okay, by default, it's at 1. That's just using arrow key, okay, or 8. If you hold shift. You can change it back to 10. That was kind of the default for a while there, and a lot of other programs. I like 8 because it's really common kind of spacing for mobile and web. And it's the same when you have nothing selected, not using any of the fields. You can click in here and just use your arrow key just to move it around, hold shift to go in bigger chunks, 8 pixel chunks. You can drag on all of these fields as well, okay, especially the ones that have the icon. Can you see here, you can just drag the icon left and right instead of having to use your keyboard. Okay, you can just drag it back and forth if you're more of a dragger person. Some of them don't have icons, okay, that one does. I don't have any layer height, so it doesn't really work. Opacity, just drag that back and forth. Okay, the ones that don't, you can hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt on a PC, and they still will drag, even if they don't have an icon. If you love doing that type of thing and there's no icon, like this one does, okay, you can just hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC. One of my favorite things is, well, flipping it upside down, nope. Let's go and F key for the frame tool. Let's say you draw something from side to side. Okay, let's give it a fill. Oh, you can use them in here as well. Watch this. I can use my, because I'm on HSB, it's up to you what you want to be on. I prefer HSB. Okay, so if I want to change around with the hue, saturation, brightness. So if the hue I want, let's go to the brightness. Okay, it's really bright. Okay, and it's in the top right. You can just use your down arrow. Can you see it comes down, 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 less bright, less bright, less bright. Okay, and in bigger chunks if you hold shift. Instead of trying to go, all right, let's say that it is about there and you want to bring it down, you can just kind of grab this one and go straight down rather than doing the old drag, diff, go straight, go, up, yeah, kind of straight. The reason I want to do this as well is I want to show you the other field trick is, let's say I need to divide that into 3 parts, which is tricky. My brain doesn't work like that. So I'm going to find the dimensions. So it's a width, perfect. You can do divide by, which is /3. There you go. Now I've got 3 separate boxes divided by 3. Here you go. You can do all the math. You can say, actually, I want this to be just, let's say you want to put, you want to shrink it down a little bit each side. So you want to minus 8 from each side. So I'm going to say minus 16, okay, and it's a little bit smaller now, 8 pixels either side. Give yourself a little margin. Can't do rotation things. Get confused by 90 degrees and 45 all the time like I do. You can say, all right, I want 360 divided by 4. All right, it's 90, not 45. All right, let's talk about some of the hard symbols to find. Okay, I'll paste them on the screen here. They're called smart symbols. Okay, and those are the ones that are there at the moment. I'll add this to the shortcut sheet. Okay, but let's say pick a path here. I'm going to rotate this back around. We're at 12 degrees, 0. So if I'm typing in here, you have to type them in order and they have to look exactly like the top bit there. So if I go bracket, C, lowercase c, another bracket, it'll instantly give me a copyright symbol. You can see how this is going to go. Capital R, it'll go through and give me the registered trademark one. Those are handy. Probably the ones I use the most are the kind of arrows. It's hard to find in the font sometimes, and you can see it's just dash and R, greater than, less than, whatever that one is. The down arrow is weird, is VV. There you go, it's a down arrow. Up arrow is the key I can never find on my keyboard. Please hold. There it is on my keyboard. It's under the 6. Editor would have fast forwarded that, but that took a long time. So I'm gonna have to hold shift and I'm gonna go 6 and then space. Okay, you have to put it a little bit afterwards, otherwise it doesn't do it. And the last one is the square. Okay, just, there we go. Square brackets, left and right, hit space. Oh, looks like there has to be a space in between them. I don't use this one, obviously. There you go. So square bracket, space, closing square bracket. There you go. Just some of the smart symbols, okay, for all the fonts. Right, the next one, shortcut for a component. Select all of this. I'm going to go Command Option K on a Mac. That's Control Alt K on a PC. Okay, and we looked at this earlier. Is if I start dragging this around, it really wants to jump inside of things. Okay, you're like, all right, that's cool, but don't go inside that frame. Don't go inside that component. Okay, remember you click it to start dragging it, then hold spacebar and move it around, and you'll see it will not, in the layers panel there, it will not go through and try and jump and be part of other layers. Another nice easy one is Command 1. Okay, gets you back to your little home option. Unless you're on the browser, then it'll just get you back to the first tab in your browser that you have open. If you're inside, it kind of works in a browser, except it just jumps to the different tabs. Okay, Command 1, 2, 3, whatever tabs are open in your Chrome browser, Safari, or whatever you're using inside of Figma the app. It does a similar sort of thing. See these tabs up here? I can go Command 1 for the home, Command 2 for that document, Command 3. So I can go 2 and 3, 2 and 3. Okay, it's holding Command or Control on a PC and just kind of toggle between the different tabs that are open. If you do have a tab that's kind of like more, say you're pulling components from like a library or some sort of file that you need to pull from all the time, you don't want it up here where you want to turn it into a tab, you can right click and say pin that tab. You can see up there, it just becomes like this little icon, okay, makes it smaller and it's harder to close. You can close it though. That works on the browser as well, okay? You can pin tabs. That's just kind of a normal Chrome type or Safari thing. You can unpin them. You can reorder these as well by clicking, holding, and dragging them. Okay, often like I'll open them up in funny orders. Okay, you just want the one that you're pulling from to be at the front here. Even if it's not pinned, you can just drag it around. Okay, so it's at the beginning. If you are working with the same files over and over and it's kind of a pain to figure out where they live every single time, you're like, my recents, let's say it's this Limerick Techno one, you can add it to the sidebar, okay, it's favorites. Click it there and you'll see, there it is there, Limerick Techno. So whenever you open up your document, you'll have some that are in there that you use all the time. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are in your project as well. Okay, if the home screen or if you're on the browser, go to, keep forgetting, I'm in the browser now. You can go to the one that says back to files. Okay, and you get back to the home screen instead of clicking on home screen. Let's close it down. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are. See these three little dots? These are handy. Okay, these just have all your recently closed files. Instead of having to go back to recents. I'm not sure if that's a saver, but there it is. Another one is if you're working with really big files or a really old computer, okay, you can figure out what's actually causing it to run slowly. Okay, you can go, you have to be inside the doc in question, okay, that may be running a bit slow, and you can go to the F, go down to view, and there's one called memory usage. It kind of appears over here. You can see it's using 2% of my memory, which is not much, so it's fine. Okay, yours might be maxing out, and if that is the case, you can click on manage memory and you can figure out what is actually causing you the problems. So the page content is doing most of the work, and imported components from other places are doing a little bit of that. Gives you some tips. You can turn this on as well. If it is, say it is page contents is doing really badly, okay, it's up to 80% and everything's a bit sluggish, you can see in here, it'll turn it on for every layer. Can you see which one has little dots here? None of my layers are doing anything. You can see this frame, it's got 0.2%, and you can kind of work out what might be causing your problems. Often it can be SVGs, really complex ones that you've imported. You just got them from a free site and it just turns out they're like really poorly made. There you go, you can see the suggestion here. You can flatten the SVGs. Or it might mean that you have to pull some of the pages out and make more than one document. My machine's running fine, so let's close that. The last thing before I show you the keyboard is you can actually drag this panel out often, especially when you've got kind of complex layers here. You can drag this right out so you can see them a bit easier. Okay, but also under your assets panel, once that starts getting a bit kind of mad, I'm going to look at the assets for this file. Okay, don't have a lot, but you can start searching for it. Okay, you can start searching for, there's an icon in here that I know what it's called because I named it really well. It's called export. Okay, and you can search in here. And it's this one here, it's this guy here. This works only if you've been naming all of your assets. You'll notice in this one here, components, there's a lot of frame 64. Not good. And when they do get big, you can go into here, okay, and you can adjust the filtering by saying, let me just show the lists. Okay, just to make it a little bit easier to figure out where everything is. That search works under file as well. You click search and let's say I want the stars that I know are in here. There they all are. Okay, they're all through my document. Okay, but I can select them all now, or I can click on them and say go to here. Okay, but I can start clicking on all of these stars. Wow, there's a lot of stars used. Okay, I can select them all, delete them, remove them. Ooh, there they are all down there. So when your layers are getting real long, this is easy. Or if you need to find, let's say this one here, okay, I can go to search and I can find the text with the words, and I don't even know what that means. Okay, so you can search in your layers panel as well. Just got to remember to turn it off by hitting the cross, otherwise you'll be stuck with just those. The pages panel, okay, can be made bigger or smaller. Okay, by default you get this really tiny little slot, which can be a bit tricky. Sometimes you don't want to see them all as well, so you can make it smaller. All right, let's look at the cool Figma keyboard. All right, so it's this here. Okay, this is the Work Louder, okay, Figma Creator Micro, I think that's what they call it. And all it is just super awesome shortcuts. So you can see here, you can program it to do anything. Okay, so we've got scrolling, zooming, okay, and you've got automatic shortcuts for create a component, scale tool I love. All right, that's component. You can program them to do everything. I don't use them all, but it's just handy, okay, especially when you're using Figma all the time to plug that in. Also a beautiful bit of desk art. It comes with a bunch of different buttons, okay, so you can kind of get it to do what you want. Now, actually, not all of you have seen my office, right? This is what it looks like. That's you normally facing me using this camera, okay, but this is my office. Yeah, some 3D printers and stuff. Yeah, this is the converted office above, it was just a little room above my garage that we converted to this. Came out really well. All right, into the computer. All right, this is what I want to show you. That Figma one is not being made anymore. It was kind of like a limited time run with Figma, kind of a promo. I missed out on the initial launch. They sold out quite quickly. I got one on eBay because I'm a nerd and I wanted the official Figma one. But it's actually a keyboard that this worklouder.cc company make. Have a check. The Figma Creator Micro might be available. It's sold out now. Okay, but they do have just the regular Creator Micro, which is currently sold out, but we'll be back. It wasn't the other day. Okay, so it's the exact same thing. It's just not in the Figma colors. Anyway, do you need it for working in Figma? No, it is desk jewelry that I really wanted. So I paid above what it cost just to have the official Figma one because I have the fear of missing out. All right, that was a long one. We've covered loads and loads of good shortcuts. I hope they were useful. Let's get into some more workflow in the next video. Thanks for sticking around. All right, let's jump back to that document that we were working on earlier with our kind of different genres. And what I want you to do is just create a frame with some text in it. Put the name of your kind of app. Okay, mine's Limerick Techno. I've made a light version and a dark version. There's nothing fancy about these, just frames with text inside of it. Okay, so let's make another iPhone 16. Okay, so I'm going to, let's just duplicate this one. So I'm going to click on the frame. Hit Command D on a Mac, Control D on a PC. Can we get a duplicate? And what we might say is, let's do the first bit of selection. So let's click on this, and I'm going to say, there is a weird one in here. I surprisingly use it a lot. Go to Edit. This is not very complicated, so we get around not using it. But if we go to Edit and go to Select Inverse, okay, which is Command Shift A on a Mac, Control Shift A on a PC, and it just selects everything but that. And you can delete it. Don't ask me why, but I end up using that a lot. The other and probably most important feature is, let's say that we do want to make this the dark version. We want to switch it out. We could grab this and copy it and put it on here and paste it and kind of line it up and remove it all. What's really good is if you copy this, select this, and there's an option in here going Edit, and there's one that says Paste to Replace. There is a paste over selection. You could stick it over the top. The other one's still underneath. I don't know why you'd need that one. But I use this one, Edit, Paste to Replace, okay, which is Command Shift R on a Mac, Control Shift R on a PC. Okay, that's really handy. And it gets handier. Okay, so let's say I use the star everywhere on my document, you, and you. I'm holding down the Option key while I'm dragging, or the Alt key on a PC to duplicate it. Okay, let's say though I want this to replace it. So I can copy it, and I'm gonna, just using my normal copy shortcut, I'm gonna grab you, and I'm gonna hold Shift and grab you, and I'm gonna grab you. And you can do that exact same thing, paste to replace. Anybody know the shortcut? Too many shortcuts, Dan. It's Command Shift R or Control Shift R on a PC. Or go up to Edit. It's up there as well. Okay, and it just replaces all of those ones. That can be handy. Paste to replace. Now this is a little bit scraping the bottom of the barrel. Let's say that I've got this star here, okay, and I copy it. And let's say that I go over here. It could be text, could be anything. You're zoomed right out and you're kind of working over here in no man's land. Let me know in the comments who ends up working way over here for some reason. Okay, and if I hit paste, by default, it puts it back where it was. You're like, and there's two of them, right? Right over the top of each other. And you're like, oh, that's not what I wanted. I wanted it over here. And there's no real way of getting it over here other than pasting it and moving it over. But what you you can do is say all the way up here, one of those people, okay? And you can right click and say, just paste it here, please. Okay, and there's my little star. About 10% of you be like, oh, that seems good. For the rest of you, let's move on. Actually, one last one I wanted to show you was, we've done this before, kind of, I just want to highlight it, is let's say that I do have a lot of new frames. So I'm gonna hit the frame tool. I'm gonna say, let's give myself one of those. Let's go Command D, 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 so I've got loads of them. Okay, if I want this on all of them, so I can say U, copy, click on U, hold Shift and just grab all the frame names, and then just hit the regular old paste. It'll put it back in the position on the frame all at once, kind of like a multiple paste. There's nothing special you have to do. Just copy and paste, but have lots of things selected when you're pasting. Awesome. How did that go? Let me know in the comments. Did I make copy and pasting sexy? You probably skipped right at the beginning. Anyway, for those that hung around, thank you, humoring me. Let's go into the next video. Hi there, in this video we are going to learn all of the frame tips and tricks. Yes, a whole video working with frames. They're pretty useful, let's jump in. All right, the first one is actually nothing to do with frames. See this little icon here? If your frames are all opened out, okay, and they're all twirled down and they're just really messy, okay, just click that, they all tidy up. And if we want to go to, say, my frame number 8, okay, you just double click on the icon here and it'll just jump straight to it. Okay, you can work your way around this document as long as you've named your frames right. Okay, it's a nice easy one. Even better though is, watch this. Let's say I am here on this first page. I should name my pages better. Click N on your keyboard. N will just go to the next frame. It'll zoom into it. Okay, so that's just a handy way of working through your document. Shift N will go backwards. Okay, N to go forwards. That's N for November, my accent, and then Shift N for November to go backwards. Okay, there's another one that's I use probably more. The N key zooms in. Okay, so if I zoom out and I hit the N key, it goes, all right, I'm at the next frame, but I'm really zoomed in. Okay, the one that I like better is the home and end key. Not all keyboards have it, or sometimes you need to hold down a special key to get it if you're on a laptop, but I'm on my big keyboard. You can probably hear it tapping away. Home is backwards and end, E-N-D, is going forwards. Forwards and backwards. Exact same thing, except that the N zooms in, okay, and home keeps the same zoom level and just moves along with different frames. That's a good one. You can resize a frame. Let's say that I create a frame up here and it's going to have all my nav inside of it. So I'm going to grab all of you guys. Okay, and I'm going to put it up into here. Okay, I don't need that one. There was a star in there. There you are over there. I'll show how you ended up over there. Select you. Okay, is that this frame is too big. Okay, what you can do is there's a little option over here. There's a shortcut. It's like all of the keys plus R. Don't use it enough, but it's a great way of just wrapping the outside frame, okay, and kind of like smushing it really close to the things that are inside the frame. All right, the next one we've done before, but in a different context. So let's bring in an image. Okay, in your exercise file, this is one called image04. Okay, it's a vector file, and we are going to bring it into here. Okay, and you want it kind of close to the edge, but we want it kind of at the back, and we want to kind of just have it off, and then it jumps off the frame. Okay, and you're like, no, I just want it. Why are you jumping off the frame? Okay, so what you can do is while you're dragging it, okay, we did this earlier. Remember, click and hold it, hold space bar, and it means you can drag it all the way out here. It is still on this iPhone 16 frame. Okay, so you can drag it in and kind of use it just on the edge here, and it stops it jumping into other frames, into components. We did it before when we're just kind of like, remember, dragging things like the star around, but it's handy when you're trying to get things on the edge that you want to be on this frame and not jump off like that. Okay, so there you go. I'm gonna push mine in here, and I'm gonna send it to the back. The shortcut for sending it to the back is the square brackets. Okay, so it's next to the P key. I'll just send mine to the back using the first of the square brackets. All right, other cool frame things is seeing everything in outline mode. So it's Command-Shift-O or Control-Shift-O on a PC. It will show you everything kind of broken down into vectors. Okay, that can be really handy, especially with that star. Remember, he was just like hanging out. Watch this, if I zoom out, okay, you can see, was there a guy? There he is there. Just a little bit easier to see than that. Star gone, star there. He was teeny tiny. Okay, if you've come from, say, Illustrator or any other vector drawing programs, you use it quite a lot, especially when you're drawing and creating things with a pen tool. Okay, I find it just handy for the frames, especially when frames are maybe similar colors. You can kind of see the outlines, and you can just work in this mode here. Okay, you can get things to maybe snap a little bit easier because you can see them better. If you come from Illustrator, okay, Adobe Illustrator, Command Y still works. I don't know why. If you're used to that one, use that one. The official one for Figma is Command Shift O or Control Shift O. If some of the shortcuts have changed, they do. Okay, yeah, they go in. They're always trying to make them better. They never stick to them. So you can click the question mark and go to keyboard shortcuts, and you can work your way through to see whether, if Dan said it was, where is it, under View, Show Outlines? Okay, yeah, it's still Command Shift O on a Mac. Okay, and if maybe they're just different than what I'm saying on PC, you'll see them listed here. Blue means you've used them. I haven't used the rulers shortcut since I reset this document, so it is grayed out. Cool. That, my friends, is all of my frames, tips and tricks. If you've got some, I'd love to kind of like get them all in. So let me know in the comments if you're like, oh, you didn't mention that one. That's a cool new one. And for you, go check out the comments. There might be some cool new ones in there. All right, that's it. I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, we're going to revise auto layouts, why they're good, how they work, and components, why they're good and how they work. Okay, you might know this already, so you can skip ahead of this video. What we'll do is we'll do a nice little revision, nice and quick, and then I'll spend ages, that's why this video is so long, running into all the issues people run into, especially when you're a little bit newer in Figma. So if you are, hang around, we'll do the quick demo, and then I'll show you the myriad ways my students get lost and how to get around them. If you know what an auto layout is and a component is, and you've never had really any problems, or at least you know how to fix them, skip along to the new stuff. But for now, let's jump in, get everybody up to the same page, and start making auto layouts and components and breaking them. Let's jump in. All right, to get started, let's work on this project from earlier, okay, where we had our genres, and let's do a couple of things to tidy up. Let's make sure, double click the name up the top here and give it a name. Okay, mine's called Limerick Techno V1, okay, and up here we've got iPhone 16. The only problem with that, you might have noticed, is if you duplicate it, so I've got the top selected, go Shift D. Okay, not Shift D, undo. Gone into inspect mode. Okay, let's come out of inspect mode by going to this. You might do it. So I'll leave that in the course, okay, is I want to have this name selected, and let's go Command D for duplicate. And you'll notice up here it says, oh look, iPhone 17, we've gone to the future. No, it's just trying to be clever. It's going iPhone 16, 17, if I do it again, Command D goes 18. So let's get rid of that. It's handy, but not for iPhone. Can be handy, but not right now. Let's call this one genres, okay, and now let's duplicate it. Remember, Command or Control D on a PC, okay, and let's double click this one, and let's call this one homepage. I know, they're backwards. Okay, let's get rid of all of that, and let's build our auto layout. I'm going to change the background color as well. I was messing around with this earlier on to kind of some sort of off-white. All right, let's do the quick version of an auto layout. So let's bring in some icons. Okay, so we're going to go Command Shift K to bring in lots of stuff. I'm going to say all of you fellas, you're going to come in, click open, and I'm going to click paste all. Okay, I'm going to move them all over here just to give myself a bit of room. I'm going to grab my scale tool, which is the K tool, and I want them all to be a height of about 32. When I say about all, exactly 32. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I am going to drag them out so I can see them all. Doesn't really matter what order they're in at the moment. Select all of them and say Shift A, you're an auto layout. Zoom out and get it going. So let's put it on here. Let's go you down the bottom. I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to drag it all the way over here. I don't want it to scale. I'm in the scale tool, that's why. So I'm going to go to the V tool to go back to the selection tool, not scaling it. I'm going to drag you all over there, you all over there, and I'm going to do some stuff where I say I want it in the middle, and I can play around with the gap between them all. Okay, and that, my friends, is how to do an auto layout. The cool thing about it is let's turn it into a component so it's reusable. Okay, you can either click the button up here, okay, or you can use the shortcut, which is Command Option K on a Mac, and that's Control Alt K on a PC. Okay, so it's a component. I'm going to duplicate this whole page, Command or Control D, and this page is going to be my, instead of this frame being iPhone 16, I'm going to do the iPhone Pro Max, the big one. Okay, and the cool thing about it is because it's an auto layout, I can see, okay, move it down. I might play around with the spacing or the gap. Okay, it's really easy to be responsive. Okay, and the other cool thing is I can say you, my friend, is, let's say this homepage here, people haven't logged in yet, so they shouldn't be able to see their ticketing option. So I can click on it and I can say in my file, under my layers, okay, let's have a look at this guy. And I can say you, my friend, which one do I want? The ticket one? I can turn the eyeball off. And over here though, I can say you, I want the eyeball on. Oh, look at us. Responsive. I can click in here. Actually, this is my instance. This is the kind of main component. So on this main component, I can say, actually, I want the search to be over here. You can see you play around with the order. And because the components, these things are linked, the magnifying glass ended up over here. Let's turn the ticket back on. This is the power of auto layouts. Hopefully that's a good little refresher on auto layouts. We did it lots in the Essentials course, and you might be, intermediate Figma user already and jumping straight to the advanced course. Let's get into all of the problems and how to fix them. I'll do it because that thing that I just did, I kind of subconsciously avoided lots of errors. But I know when I'm teaching people, they all do the errors. That could be you. So stick around, let's get into all of the problems and solutions. All right, so I've just kind of undone until I come back to before I put the icons on. So let's get started and bump into all of the problems. So when I bring in my icons, there's two different ways. Okay, I could use the Command-Shift-K and bring them all in, and that kind of stacks them all on top, okay? Especially if I hit place all. Boop, they're all in there, okay? And that's what I did in the first part of this tutorial, and everything worked. But if you are like me and you do a lot of from your exercise files, from icons, you just grab all of these and go, yep, boop, and add your own sound effects and just drag them on. They kind of come in a different way. You're like, yeah, that's not a problem. Except where they're all selected and you go to the K tool, okay, for scale, and you can say, actually, I want the height to be 32. And you're like, well, this is perfect, done. Actually, it's not done it. What you've ended up doing is this whole group has become 32. Can you see? This whole height is 32. So this one particular heart icon is only 15. To get around that, it's easy. Okay, you just have this one selected. Okay, and you say you are height of 32. This brings me to the other problem. Okay, is that let's look at this heart. Okay, under here, it's in a frame, which is cool. Okay, inside of here is a vector. What people can do is they can accidentally click the vector, not the parent frame. Can you see they're different? Okay, so that, the frame that it's around, and the thing that is inside of it, if I have the thing inside of it selected and I go, you're a height of 32, does weird stuff. You can you make out what's going on? There's a frame, but the heart inside of it got scaled, but not the frame. So it's like clipping it off. It's undo, undo. So that can be problems that people run into is they accidentally, you can do it on the board here. Okay, you can see I've clicked the vector, not the parent frame. All right, solve some problems. You might have bumped into those already. The next one is sometimes people grab SVGs like this, and they'll just do a little selection around this. Okay, we'll notice that I have selected the internal parts of all of this. Watch, just the vectors, not the parent frame. Okay, so if I drag this off now, look, I'm dragging the internal vectors, not these. And you end up with these frames left by themselves. It is, the world's not going to explode if you have vectors on their own and try and scale those. That's fine. Okay, but it is very common and you have a lot more flexibility if vectors are inside of frames. So just be careful when you are selecting, either do a really big selection so it goes right around the outside and you can see I've got everything selected, or you can shift click the names if you can see the names. Okay, I can grab them all selected, or in your layers panel here, I can click the top one, hold shift, grab the bottom one. It doesn't really matter. If you're finding problems and you're like, this is weird, it's probably that you have the vector selected and not the frame. If you end up with a vector on his own and you have no idea where his frame went, or he just didn't come with one, the file that you inherited didn't have it, you can just frame it. You can say, let's right click it and let's say frame selection. He's got a frame now. Excellent. All right, let's go back in. All right, and what I want to do is, I think that's the problems for now. There's more to come. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do a sneaky trick. Instead of doing them all separately, I'm going to say you are aligned on top of each other. Remember, don't drag them on top of each other. If I drag him, where is he going to go? He's going to go inside the heart. Okay, you can hold spacebar. We learnt that before. It'll just sit on top. But it's easy, just grab them all. Big selection on top. You and you. And now I'm going to say I would like the height of all of these guys to be 32. Nice. Make sure that I'm using the dimensions of the frames, not the scale. I want the scale over here. Oops, 32. I'll pretend I added that on purpose, but nope, I just messed that up. Now, the next problem is that when we convert this to auto layout, you're like, okay, cool, just select them all. Did the big selection like Dan said, and then you went Shift A. In the earlier version, they all stacked up nicely. Okay, it's because I was doing things knowing how to avoid problems. like this. Okay, the default inside of Figma now is it tries to think for you, and it does a terrible job at the moment. This might work. If it works, you're done. Okay, if it doesn't and you have this problem like this, what's happened is it's turned this thing into auto layout. Okay, let's have a look. It's called frame 10. Let's call this one nav / what's this one? Nav bottom. Okay, and inside of it, let's close all these down, okay, just to make it tidy. You've got one frame, that's the little hash, another frame, little hash. Then you've got this guy, hash, inside a little target. These guys here are ignoring the auto layout. This guy, listening, the heart. Magnifying glass, listening, and they're kind of flowing on next to each other. This one here, moody teenager, is ignoring you. Okay, that's this little icon here. You will see them across lots of documents. Other people will make them. All it means is like, it's still inside the auto layout, but it's not flowing like an auto layout. Why? Reasons. We'll do it later on. We'll look at something called absolute positioning. But for the moment, you'll need to say, you, stop doing that. Okay, I want you to grow up, and you go, and stop being moody. Okay, by ignoring auto layout, turn that off. Look, so the ticket now flows along. There's just one more person, the icon user. You are no longer ignoring us. All right, they're all flowing along nicely. The other thing that might happen is if you click on the frame, you will find that the auto layout has different, it tries to guess. Do you mean horizontal? Most of the time it guesses there. Sometimes it goes, ta-da! Let's go back to horizontal and zoom out. And I think that is the issues we're gonna run into. Okay, one thing we need to do actually before we move on is let's grab this frame and drag it out. Let's turn the icons that are inside of it into components. Why do we do that? Because the heart, we don't want lots of copies of the heart. We want one heart used lots of times that we get to control. Okay, so let's select all of these. I would like you to all be components. I don't want to make them one component. You can see one giant component. I would like them all. So the drop down here, create multiple components. So I've got a heart, magnifying glass, a ticket, and a user. Let's go put them into play and explain just why components are so good. You probably know already. Okay, so let's get this going down the bottom here. Let's drag this out here and this out here. Let's get the alignment to be in the center and let's drag up the gap. You can put the gap as auto, okay, but it goes right to the edge. Okay, I want this, bring this down. I want to bring this down to like 50. Actually, I make the alignment center. And if I zoom in, you can play around with this on the artboard. Can you see? If you've got gap that's not set to auto, okay, any other number, you can drag these out while you're down here. We can set this still to auto and add some padding left and right, okay, just so that it is, what should we do? Let's do 32. Cool, let's add it to the bigger document. Let's go for so let's make, duplicate them, Command or Control D. You are going to be the frame of the Pro Max, so it's nice and big. The cool thing about it now is because it's an auto layout, okay, and we set up that lovely spacing, okay, you can see we've made it bigger for a different device, okay, and it all flows nicely, okay. And the reason we made those icons a component is so that we can go into this and say, all right, okay, this is my main component. Okay, I can tell it's got the weird little icon here, not this version of it down here. Where is he? If I double click on him, you see the diamond, that's the regular instance. Let's go over here. Okay, if we go and double click, and we start messing around with him, let's give him some mad sideburns. Those aren't mad sideburns anyway, but because you've messed with the master, zoom out, okay, or no, the main component, you can see this adjusts as well. If we didn't convert these to multiple components, that wouldn't have updated and we'd have to update it again. All right, my friends, that was a long video. Okay, and hopefully gets us all up to the same sort of level of understanding for auto layouts, why we use them, how to make a component, why we use those, and the myriad of issues that you might run into being kind of, I don't know, good enough to use Figma, but bumping into lots of issues. Hopefully that solved a few of them. All right, let's get on to some new stuff in the next video. Hi everyone, in this video we're going to sprinkle on all of the super awesome AI features inside of Figma. Suggested auto layout, replace content, duplicate, rename, and AI image generation. Oh, so good. We're going to take this, which is just an image and some text. There's nothing fancy about it. We are going to go copy and then right click, more layers, suggest auto layout, and bam, it's auto layout. It does all that great auto layout stuff without having to build it yourself. And then we'll make a couple of them, add them both into an auto layout, and then look, magic, we get to duplicate them. Magic more, we get to click on this and say, let's replace the content in there. Let's just use the default, fill it with some realistic content, sit back, relax. It redid it all, and it kind of knows what it's doing. Plus we'll do all the images as well. All right, I've actually done the whole tutorial in the intro. There's a little bit more detail to it than that. There's a bit. So let's jump in and start arm wrestling the AI robots. All right, so I've created a card here. It is a frame. Inside of that frame is just an image, some text. They're all just kind of like floating around. Nobody's doing anything. Okay, so I need to turn to auto layout because what I want to do is put it on another document and kind of resize it and do all sorts of stuff where I go, all right, rock and roll needs to be really, really long. It just kind of types over everything. There's nothing responsive about it. So all I need to do, click the parent frame. If I use my normal Shift A, okay, to turn to auto layout, that doesn't work. Let's undo. The trick here is with the parent selected, okay, frame 38, I'm going to right click it and there's an option in here. It says more layout options. And this one here, suggest auto layout. It should be super amazing auto layout. It's very unassuming. Let's click the button and nothing changes. How cool is that? You're like, nothing changed. Have a look. So my frame now, okay, is an auto layout. Inside of it is an image, but then there's another auto layout frame. So it framed this for me. So it's in this kind of like large frame. Okay, and I can decide now that actually, let's twirl that up, the image goes beneath it. It reflows. It's all nested auto layouts. It's very exciting. Okay, we might decide in here though that, what do we got? So there's a frame 40. I want that to be below the text, or I drag the text above there. Okay, they all reflow. Undo, 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 undo. Okay, let's say rock and roll as well. Let's say I type in that really long heading. And look what it does now. It snaps, it's created this box. Oh, it's so good. Let's undo. Let's go even further. At the moment, it's really hard. Like, remember it was called frame 35? It just kind of like wipes the frame names, but you can get it back. You can say, all of you guys, I can right click it and use the sweet rename layers AI. This might be off if you're on the free version, but watch this. You could type them. Watch this. Rename layers. It's going to go through. It's going to think about it. Oh, look at it typing. It's the future. Cover image. Oh, it even changed that. Look, cover image, song info. It's not quite right. It's got the header, the title, the date. Oh, description, song info. It's not really a song info. It's more of a genre. Oh, so good. Oh, it gets better. Let's grab it. Let's make a copy of it. Okay, I haven't turned it into an instance. I should, but I've got 2 frames here now. I'm going to select them both, put them auto layout, just the regular one. Shift A, that works. It's not very complicated. But see this appear? Ooh, okay. It's got this fancy duplicate option. See the little sparkles next to it. I'm going to first actually just drag it off because it's getting a little bit tight in there. Okay, and I'm going to make it bigger. Let's zoom out actually. You have to drag it far enough. If you drag it, it does nothing until you get far enough to get enough room for them all to appear in there. Okay, look what we're doing. Oh, and it gets even better. We're going to use the AI feature called right click. That's not the right AI feature, but there's one in here called, I can't remember, come on brain, replace content. It's not in there at all. Okay, with it selected, the whole big frame that you've got, get on here and let's go to replace content. And can you see this like little pre-filled in thing? It says fill with realistic content if you hit tab. That is a prompt. You could type that in. It doesn't matter. Okay, but yeah, give it a crack. Realistic content. It's going to try. Oh, it's doing it. How cool is that? It's not doing the images. You got to do those individually. We'll do those in a sec. But look at that. It's got the dates. It's got the different genres. Oh, I do like it. Okay, so now we could go in and say, actually, you here. Okay, I've done that one. We could go to more AI and say, make an image. And this one is indie pop band. Let's make it cut to when it's made because this takes a little while. Ha, I like it. Okay, oh, look how responsive it is. I like the indie pop band. One little change, make changes. Aha. It's closer to me. We'll take it. All with glasses. Better. Little roundy face for me, but that'll do. It's got no sideburns. What happened there? It's got the hairdo though. All right, so we could work our way through to do these things. The one caveat, the one problem that I'm bumping into in terms of the like duplicate option, okay, is let's grab. Oh, I didn't keep a version of it. Copy that one out of the frame, paste it over here. Okay, so he's out. So I got to this and we should turn this into, actually I want to turn that, I want to get this frame taller. Actually, no, I want to get the image. I used a really weird size there, didn't I? That's the padding. Come on, Dan. Let's grab the edge. There we go. Okay, what we should do is turn this into a component. Remember, Command-Shift-K. Nope. Remember, Command-Option-K to turn it into a component, or just click the button over there. Boop. Okay, so we've got our main component so that we can change it later on and kind of control it all. So I make a copy of it, which is my instance. Okay, the instance of my main frame. I'm gonna move them around. Okay, that's at the top, that's there. I select them both and I make them Shift A into R. Actually, the duplicate thing, remember that was down here? It's gone. It's ready to go. Okay, so it'll work with a main component. It's like you can't, but I'm going to undo this. We should put on our components page, boop, and put it in here. Okay, and then back at my other page, my Hi-Fi mobile. Okay, actually, I did it the wrong way around, didn't I? I'm going to cut that, go to my components. So my main component's in here. Then I'm going to copy this, go back to my Hi-Fi mobile, paste it in here. So this is a copy of that main component. You can see it's a little diamond. That'll work. Okay, so it'll do it to those. U, Shift A, auto layout, and then that appears there. That might go away. I don't know why it does that, but yeah, very cool. A couple of other things that you might have to do before we turn it into that duplicating thing is actually, let's go back to the main component. What you want to do when you've used suggest auto layout, just make sure it works. That image worked great. You can see it's kind of what I wanted to do. The padding on both sides. What was my padding originally? Let's click on this. See, I had what, 17 on one side and 16 on the other. Okay, just because I drew it out randomly, it's probably best to tidy this up now before I go and turn it into, you know, a component and make duplicates of it everywhere. So I probably want 16, 16, actually 16 all around. Come on, Dan. I like to tab around these just to get them. The other thing is that this, let's have a look. I'm going to put some returns in. You can see it's not flowing. Okay, that's something I probably want. Okay, it depends. If you want a fixed height card, leave it. But what I want to do is double click down the bottom of the text box and it will turn it from, can you see, where is it? This is a fixed size. And if I double click the bottom, okay, it automatically jumps to this one. Or you can click the icon to auto height. That's another good thing to check. Now I can add more stuff. Get in there, get in there. Enter, enter, enter. So you go. Other thing I'd probably check here now is there enough room for all of the dates? Probably. What happens when I get down to 1 digit? That still works. These are the kind of things I like to check. And like, what if the client says this needs to be all uppercase? It still fits. Or we want the full version. That's okay too. And over here, what happens when this gets really long? We already checked that. All right. Oh, the other thing is that is kind of scaling down. It's kind of being centered inside of the header, which is cool, which is this chunk here. What you could say is the date is, it's probably set to centered somewhere. Where is it? Actually, it's not this, it's the parent header. Okay, we can say the header, I want them to be spaced out, which is cool, but I want it to be spaced and aligned along the top. Now we've covered some strange things here. It's all very easy until it's not. I've kind of given us something that works really good, but you'll find there's lots of times it just doesn't work. And that's what we'll do in the rest of the section about auto layout. I'll give you a bit more crash course on how to do these like nested, awesomely aligned, constrained and spaced out auto layouts. But yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? All right, that is it. I will see you in the next video. Actually, one last thing. Let's actually just get it on the page. I'm going to move view off. So which one were we working on last? I think this one. Yeah, we were. And because all of these instances are in this auto layout, I can go like you, and watch this. I can grab the parent as long as the parent. Ah, that is the nicest part. I can do the spacing. Okay, mess around with the spacing. What do I want it to be? 32. Whoop, hard to do. Let's do it over here. 32. Another little trick as well, you can actually just double click that gap and type it in. Whoop, double click the gap for the spacing. Come on, Dan. My mouse is doing some weird stuff. So let's go to you, double click the gap, and you can type it in up here. So I can type in 32. Or do it over here. It's up to you. But it doesn't matter what size this goes on, it will respond to it. Oh, so good. All right, we've made a mess. Now I will see you in the next video. All right, it is class project time. I want you to build a page. And let's go to the class projects. Remember, those are in your exercise files. I want you to create a what's on page. Okay, what's going on? I don't mind the language. Okay, there needs to be a heading and a repeating band list card. Okay, let's have a look at my one. Okay, so I've got a heading here. I've got this card that repeats with all different bands that are coming up on different dates. I want you to experiment with the AI features. If you are trying to do this course in the free version, it's okay. Just design it. It doesn't have to be built with AI. You just have to do a little bit more typing and copying and pasting and finding images from free stock library image sites. I don't mind. If you are in the free version, there's a free trial. Okay, it might be great to do this course through the free trial and you can turn it off at the end. Okay, but if you do have the features, I want you to go through and play around with these. So suggest auto layout's the main one. We did that in the last video. Okay, where you just kind of design it and say, hey, give me the auto layout, please. And it does nice things. You will bump into problems. Like I designed one quite simple so that it worked. It worked first time. I know I've done other things where I'm like, oh, this will work, and it didn't. So keep it simple, or do something complicated and see how suggest auto layout deals with it. Later in the course, we'll get our skills up so we can fix it, but play around with something simple at least. Okay, I want you to play around with that rename layers features. If you can't remember where that is, because it was kind of a small part of the course, is you can go into here and say, actually, I want to grab this whole thing and right click it. Okay, and there is a rename, where are you? Rename layers, there it is there. Okay, I also want you to duplicate with new content. That is the technical term for that little thing that appears at the bottom, okay, when you are dragging it out. It's this thing down the bottom here. I can't see, there, that thing. Okay, replace content, we did that, okay. In this case, what I like to do when I know what I'm gonna make is I'll build something, what is that? Get out of my way. Okay, where are we? Remember, if you get lost, Command 1, oh. I typed in exclamation mark, Shift 1, sorry, and it will zoom out to everything that you've got. What I like to do when I'm putting the placeholder text that I'm going to use that replace content with, okay, I just type in band name. Okay, that gives it a hint. Okay, I typed in an actual date and I use the rewrite this. Okay, or yeah, rewrite this to add in a description about a band called, and I gave it a fake name, and then I duplicated it, so that I was able to then use the, what is it called? Rewrite this. It comes up with band names. You can, in your suggest this, give it a really clear description. You could say, actually, I'm rewriting this and I'm saying, I'm writing this for techno bands from the 90s. Okay, and it will give you that specifically. You don't have to just leave it blank. All right, play around with the make an image. Okay, so I made an image and you'll notice that all of them have middle-aged bald dudes. I tried to do the sideburns. It doesn't like adding sideburns. None of these look like me. But anyway, they're all hidden in there. Little Easter eggs. I think I like this guy the most. He's got a similar hairy hand going on. And what else? Rewrite this we talked about, which is Figma's version of ChatGPT. Play around with that. I want to make your page scrollable. Okay, so make sure that when you're doing the template, it can do this. Okay, if you've never done that before, just make sure that when you've got your frame, okay, and you've got this in it, it's longer. Okay, so it fits in there. Okay, and also this is the height of the phone. Okay, my height is 852, and we've clipped the contents. Okay, so we don't see it. That doesn't really matter. What really matters is that it is set to a frame of something it knows, like an iPhone 16. If it doesn't work, you can go to prototype. It still probably won't work, so you're gonna go to prototype and you're gonna say, I would like the overflow, which is that stuff that's kind of hanging out here. Default is no scrolling. I want to vertically scroll, and that should get you this guy. All right, awesome. I've taken some liberties and kind of moved that around to remove the camera. You do the same. I played around with some fonts and some colors. We'll get into that more later on, but couldn't help myself. All right, jump in, play around with the AI, be excited by some of the time it can save you, and realize some of its kind of foibles where it doesn't do what we did in the last course. Simple things, great. Really complicated things, we're gonna need to fix ourselves. But don't worry, we'll learn how to do it. All right, happy class project making. I'll see you after you've done. Oh, actually, any last things in here? Deliverables, take a screenshot, okay, like this, and upload it to the class projects, okay? Also share on social media, let people know you're doing the advanced course with Dan and it's awesome. You guys should check it out and this is what I made. Yeah, there you go. I will see you in the next video. Hi everyone, in this video we're going to build our very own responsive nested auto layout. Okay, like we did in the earlier video where we used the robots, we used AI to do it all. We're going to do it all ourselves because we need to understand how these things are created so that we can fix problems, create more complex layouts, and we need to learn how to hug. Yes, there's going to be hugging in this one. It's going to be real awkward. All right, let's jump in. Let's get hugging. All right, let's get started by hitting the F key, and we're going to pick an iPhone 16 frame. For some reason, it plops it in wherever it likes. Got to line it up perfect. And this is going to be my manual auto. All right, so it's got a name, very sexy. And what we're going to do is just start building it. So I am going to start with a frame, okay, and I'm going to draw one in here. All right, I'm going to change the color of it just so that we can see it against the background. Pick any old color, as long as it's green, and a loop. Let's bring in an image. You can bring in anything. I've got one. Remember, Command-Shift-K is the shortcut to bringing in an image. Okay, and there's one called Image 5. It's a very cool. Bring a laptop. There we go. I'm going to just drag it around manually to kind of how I want it to be. And let's have a little look. Okay, the constraints are locked. Can you see that? Like when I'm dragging it, can you see that dotted line that runs through the middle of it? It's just saying the height and the width are locked. You can break it by hitting that button there. Unlock aspect ratio. Okay, and I want to have it just a weird aspect ratio. Okay, I'm going to drag it out. I should be more thoughtful. It's good enough. Now what I'm going to do is just build it as we go, rather than kind of building it all up and then converting it. Okay, so what I'm going to say is actually this frame. Okay, let's give it a name. Let's call this one card. Okay, this image is going to be called image. What I want to do is the parent, which is the card. Okay, I want to say you're an auto layout. So I can click on the button. Where's the button? There he is there. Okay, or I can use my shortcut, Shift A. And now the cool thing about that is, can you see it's kind of wrapping around it? All right, so I want to make sure my padding is 16 and the height is 16. Great. Let's do some type. I'm going to type it over here. I'm going to type in, bring your own laptop. Okay, and it's going to go in here. But the problem is, if I put in the auto layout, well, it's going to work. It's going to go exactly where I need it to do. Excellent. Okay, the problem is I'll go and add my date. Let me jump to making a date. Okay, I got my date. If I try and pop it in there, this auto layout is set to that, okay, which is vertical, or I could do horizontal. Both of them aren't going to work. We need to do that nesting goodness in the middle here. Let me just move these around. So bring a laptop on top of the date. Okay, they're still not working, but if I grab both of these guys, okay, and put them inside their own auto layout, that is what's called a nested auto layout. I got one that I'm going to put in here inside this parent. It's nested inside. Okay, so I've got these two selected. You can right click it and say, I want to frame this selection. You could draw the frame first and throw these guys in. It's up to you. Okay, they're in this frame. I'm going to turn it into an auto layout, Shift A. Okay, this one's going to be called heading. And it's still not working, Dan. Look, it's nested though. Look, heading is inside card. Okay, but this thing here, I can do some cool stuff. Remember, this card was set to flowing down. This auto layout can be set to going horizontal, vertical. Yeah, horizontal. Cool, eh? It's not quite working, but that is a nested auto layout. And you'll find lots of nests inside nests inside nests. That's how AI did it automatically, which was cool. Let's look at making it a little bit better, because at the moment it kind of does that. It's not quite right. And when I type it kind of works, but just goes off and forever. So there's a few things we need to look at. Okay, let's look at this parent, the heading. Okay, this heading at the moment goes to about there. We want it to go all the way over here. How do we do that? Okay, at the moment, the width, you see it says hug there, hug contents. It is hugging, big bear hug around the contents as tightly as it can, which is very tight. Okay, right around the edges. What I want to say is don't hug. I would like you to fill your container. And the container in this case is the card. That's the parent or the container. I want you to fill as much as you can. Can you see the little arrow that appears here? Watch. I'm going to go that way. You're like, awesome. That kind of works. So this heading now stretches all the way across. What I need to do now is at the moment, they're all squished to the left. I'm going to say, I want you to squish to the left. Okay, and it's got a gap of 8. That's a little gap in between it. I'm going to say the gap actually, can you just make it auto? The parent says, I want to be as big as I can. Okay, I want to fill out to this container. But we were forcing the gap also to be a certain number. But if we say be auto, it goes, all right, be whatever you want, and it will expand out to the container. Kind of get it? So we've got, let's close that down, our parent, which is an auto layout. We've got this image hanging out inside of it. Okay, and then we've got this little block, okay, that has its own little world of auto layout going on with these two fellas inside. Okay, now I'm going to add my description text. I'm going to jump to that being done. Okay, that was the weirdest. I checked to see if the AI would give me Lorem Ipsum. That's the Lorem Ipsum we got. Somehow we got Disney. Wow. Oh, it's not Disney. Just felt Disney when I read it. Okay, if we dump them in here, as long as we get them in the right place, it should fill out, and we've got this lovely auto layout, much the same way as this was made. Okay, let's double check a few things just to make sure everything works. A couple of things is that's not going to the edge. How do we do it? We select on him and say, oh, do we want your width? Okay, we want you to go, let's fill your container. Let's go all the way out. It did. It doesn't really work because none of the words are small enough to break. Let's do that again. So I'm going to change the text size. Let's go to Roboto regular. Oh, that'll do it. Okay, and do the exact same thing. I'm gonna grab the text. We can say your width, my buddy, is fill container. Oh, at least one word popped up. You get what I mean though, right? So it fills it up, great. Let's keep typing. The other thing I like to check with auto layouts, we kind of did it early on, is check this all works, keep going. It's not working. Okay, so this text box is what's called a fixed height. So with it selected, just the text, I can see the height is set to this height of 115. You're like, I don't want it to be 115. I'd like it to be hug contents. That would work. Okay, there's a couple other ones we could do. We could do hug contents. This button here does the exact same thing. Auto height. It's just another word for hugging contents. Bloop. It even changes. Look, if you go to hug contents, can you see it just switches to that? The other way, the third way, because you need 3 ways of doing stuff. You can just double click the bottom of a text box. It'll switch it to hug and auto height, all the same. Give it a test. Testy, McTesty. Oh, come on. It does work. Awesome. All right. Anything else we want to check? The other thing we would like to check is this whole thing responsive? Oh, kind of is. Yeah, it is. Totally responsive. The thing that I was thinking wasn't going to work, and I was going to show you was, no, it works. Cool. Sometimes it's just this box here. Okay, it is set to fill. We already did that. Sometimes when you drag it out, oh, that's what it was. I had mine very clearly like this, okay, with a specific width. When I'm designing it, often I'll line it up anyway there, even though I haven't said fill, and it will just be a fixed width still. It'll look like it is, okay, it'll look like it's going to the edge, but when I do this, it goes, nope. Okay, so this one here, I set to fill that container, please. Nice. It is totally tricky. Okay, so if you are finding yourself like, oh, that was a bit tough, we'll do a few more through the class. But in terms of auto layouts, okay, auto layouts on their own, one of them is really simple. When you start sticking ones inside of other ones, you're like, oh, that's weird. And then you throw in this, like, is it going to be hugging or is it going to be filling the container? I remember when I got started, I just had to click on them all and go, is it hug? Is it fill container? Something's not right. And you kind of played around with the buttons until you get a sense for like, all right, so I understand. Like, I understand it fully, but it wasn't instant when I was learning it as well. So if you're finding it a little tricky, it is tricky. But when you do get it and you're doing all of this good stuff, and you can start to do the things we did in the last one where we go, all right, you are going to be a duplicate, grab them both, Shift A, auto layout, and then drag out bunches of them, and then go Command K because we're awesome, and we go replace content, and we say fill with realistic tabs so we can fill with realistic content. Then hit Command Enter, even though I always just hit Enter. Anybody else do that? It's just so good. Look, networking event. It's just gone through and changed them. Look. Different dates, different descriptions, different. Ooh, kind of knows what we are. How does it know what Bring Your Laptop is? That is kind of scary. It is. This is the stuff we do at Bring Your Laptop. Renowned designer. Oh, the robots. You're freaking me out, man. All right, that is it. I'm going to contemplate my life with the robots, and I will see you in the next video. Wow. Hi everyone, in this video we're going to learn about auto layout grids. Look how cool this thing is. It's got grids, okay? We can move stuff around. You go there. They're called auto layout grids. They're easy to use. I love them. Let's jump in. Okay, to get started, I've created a new frame, nothing in it. I've made a background color of kind of like a midnight blue. That does not matter. Okay, let's grab a frame. We're going to stick it inside. Okay, and we are going to find the auto. So it's this new one here. Okay, we've looked at basically freeform just means it's a frame with things wiggling around everywhere. The same way I'm drawing stuff inside of this frame. That is freeform. There's a rectangle in here, okay, that's just got no fill, but it's just hanging out, okay? Let's delete him and let's change it. So we've looked at vertical and horizontal for auto layouts. What we're going to do is click on this one here. What it's going to do is convert it to auto layout. It kind of saves us having to click that, but also turns it into this grid. It's in beta at the moment. I'm sure by the time you're doing it, it'll be nice and not beta-y. Might not have as many bugs. It might do some new features. So all we've got here is, let's bring in some images. It's the best way to explain it. So let's go to Command Shift K or Control Shift K. I'm going to bring in 06 to 10, okay, of the images, and I'm just going to click Place All, and let's drag one in, and it's not going to work. So you go over there. These are all piled up on top of each other. So if I grab this and throw it into my grid, which I can't really see, where are you? There he is. If I grab that and drag it in, it'll it didn't work. Let's make it appropriately sized just to get started. Okay, it'll expand and contract. Let's get it somewhere sized like that, and I'm going to say you get in there, okay? Or you can go copy and go in here, select the frame where you want it and go paste, and it'll go in as well. The only trouble with this is that it's kind of working, okay? It's got this little grid, but you can see here the image is getting smaller. It's trying to fill, but it just can't do it. Okay, so what we need to do is either before or after, okay, we need to select on the image and say, do not have your aspect ratio locked. So let's unlock aspect ratio, give it a click. I'm gonna do it to all of these, all in one big go, okay? So now it's going to do cooler, responsive stuff. Awesome, eh? You could build this yourself with frames and padding and auto layout, but grids just make it work easily. The cool thing about it as well is let's grab this one. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to, actually, let's drag it in when it's a little bit bigger. Let's see what it does. So if I drag this guy just over here, it's not in, it's using the top left of this thing and it's not getting anywhere near close. So it's too big. It doesn't know where to go. So that's why it's in beta. If I do this, it's squeezed in. Sometimes, okay, it will go and cross two, the noises. Okay, this will cross two of my, what are they? Rows. The cool thing about it is, look, it's all resizey and responsive is the word. Okay, so let's pull in, that was my guitar. I asked AI to make me a guitar. I didn't know what it was. So I said, it's a piano with a guitar, and it smashed it on the side there. Not what I wanted. Okay, so I'm gonna copy that, paste it. I've just double clicked it, pasted it in. Oh, it is so good. Super easy to do these little grids. Otherwise, it used to take ages to mock these up. You can get them to span more than one, like this one here. They can overlap. Okay, and this thing will still be expandy and contracty. Okay, and if you do need to play around with the layers, it's just like normal over here in your layers panel. If I want him below all these guys, bam, there we go. I don't want that. I like the kind of grid that they've got going, all the gaps. Undo, undo, undo. Okay, you can adjust all of these. Can you see over here? You can say the gap is 10 and 10. If you want it to be, what do we want, 16 and 16? You can add padding. Let's add 8 and 8. They're quite versatile. I'll drag that one all the way that way, and they're very responsible. Why is this guy sticking out the bottom there? Oh, let's have a look. He's not constrained now, but under the fill image, he's under fill, fit, fill. Ah, it's because I dragged him out earlier on. Remember I was trying to drag him? There you go. Be in your little home there, buddy. You can easily move them around. I can double click this guy and just drag him up, and he will try and get up there. Nice. You can duplicate them. What's going to happen because of this weird row structure? Let's go Command D. Okay, we'll put a new one in. It's so smart. You can add them in yourself by clicking on the entire frame. And over here, okay, you can click on this and say, you see, it just defaulted to 2 and 2. Let's say I want this to be 3 and 2. I just hover my mouse over, get a sense for what I want, and then click it. Okay, and in this case, I'm going to have to say I want it, but I want this over here. And I'm going to maybe make this one go that way. Oh, look at us being all creative. Guitar time. There you go. You go in there. Okay, that dark background was a dumb idea. Let's go back to an off-white. Actually, full white. It can be a little weird when you move them around. Watch this. I want to move this guy over here. Where do I want him? That side. Okay, kind of squished it out and moved everything around. So sometimes you do need to copy and paste them. Sometimes it works nicely, sometimes not, depending on how much you've got spanned and what's kind of inside of the grid. Now you can make these rows, so rows and columns up and down. Okay, you can make them individual sizes. At the moment, they're all on set to auto. See these little dots when I'm hovering around? Those little dots are on the outside. There and there is the measurements. So what I can do is I can say, actually, I want this one here to be just a little bit bigger. And you can either click on it and just drag it, okay, or type it in. If you know you want it to be 150, just type it in. These all change to fit the space provided. It's very cool. You can actually drag them out of their little homes. Okay, all you need to do is the parent frame needs to be not set to clip contents. Okay, you can do some quirky things with it, but you end up breaking it. Don't break it. I'm undoing. Don't break it. But I know you will. You can add text. Let me know in the comments if you can work it out. I can't make the text expand and contract when it's editable text. It's not as responsive, but let's do it anyway. Let's go into here. Let's drag this in and go to you. I got some text I was messing around with. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to put this in. Actually, that's why I had the dark background. Back to dark background time. Okay, is this here. I want an extra row at the top. Okay, so what I can do is I can say what do I want? Another row. So it's going to be 3 by 3 now. Boop. Okay, I'm going to grab and I'm going to have to drag these ones down to kind of give myself some space for the text. Oh, it's so easy, isn't it? Now this here, I'm going to go to cut. Actually, I'll copy it. Click back in here. I'm going to click on this field and go paste. It will be in there. It's the wrong size. But the problem is, yeah, that's the big problem, is I can't work out how to resize it. So you've got to pick an appropriate width so that it can kind of hang out with the dudes. Okay, do the stuff. Okay, but the text eventually will get to the edge and go bye-bye. Okay, so that's the only thing. Same with this height here. don't want it to be auto. I'm going to drag it down so it's kind of relatively like this. I could get it to break. Watch this. I can't get the size to change. That's really what I want. Okay, so I'm going to select the text. I'm going to say I don't want it to be hugging the width. I want it to fill the container. Okay, and I want it to drag it all the way over here. So it will break now. Watch this. Okay, so you can kind of make it work. All right, let's grab that as well. You get smaller. Oh, very cool. All right, what else got easier using this grid function? One thing I want to show you though is, just before I go, it's like a special treat if anybody's waited this long. I forgot to use it. This one here was my favorite. I was like, man, that was cool. I got to add an AI and I was like, how the heck did I get that? Because I got it for that as well. So what I did was, right, is I drew a rectangle. And then I did this. It's not going to be the same because AI has the inability to repeat things. Okay, but I'm going to make an image and I'm going to, this is what I put in. Guitar close up, you can use color, and I use the hexadecimal number, okay, of the color. You could use RGB, whatever it is, as the main color. And then I did it and I got this and I was like, genius. So I did the headphones, genius. Then I did the guitar, fail. Oh, I used a different color. It wasn't orange, it was pink. Okay, so in this case, I might go, all right, make changes and say acoustic guitar. Up to you, but that's how I got this kind of really nice flat graphics I'm using in here. Thought I'd share. And if you're of an age and you're like, what the heck is a guitar? Maybe it's the accent. You ready? There you go. You are welcome. I wanted one so bad. Hands out who forgot they existed. There you go. We learned loads in this video. Figma auto layout grids and guitars. All right, that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, fun. It's class project time. It is fun. What are you talking about? Great learning and practicing. What I want you to do is I want you to use the auto layout feature, the grid auto layout feature we learned in the last video. Okay, it's a pretty easy one. I want you to make what we made in the last video. There's some requirements. I would like you to use 4 or more images. Don't mind where you get them. AI generated, stock library, your own images. I'd like them to be related to your particular genre of music. So it might be rock and roll, soul, hip hop, whatever you got. Okay, do that. I want you to experiment using at least one colored box. Okay, you can see in here on my one, I changed mine after the video to add these colored boxes. The thing is, they need to be able to move around with them. And that's gonna be a bit of a harder one. I don't know, it's the advanced course. I'm setting some tasks where somehow when you put it in, probably, okay, this is just a frame. It's just a frame that was sitting over here that it's now in there. But by default, this guy does not want to expand and contract. I want you to see if you can figure out how to do it. If you can't do it, don't worry. Check in the next video. Well, check below. Don't look yet, but somebody in the comments will let you know how they got it to work. Okay, so just a colored box instead of an image. I'll give you a hint. It's something to do with the width and height. See if we can figure that one out. We've done it before, is the key. Add text, but that's optional. I want you to do at least one object spanning column. So that spans 1, 2, 3, that spans 2. Okay, so just one of them at least. Deliverables, take a screenshot and upload them to class projects. And these are looking cool. And I like this little grid. Upload it to social media and just say you're experimenting with the Figma grid auto layout and what you think of it. Make sure you tag me. Have fun playing around with it. All right, I will see you after you've finished your homework. Not homework, class project, fun stuff, remember? All right, next video. Components, you know them already. Why are we doing a video? I've got some important stuff that catch people out, catch me out. I want to share that with you. This video, is it fun? I get lost a little bit. Well, wasn't planning to get lost, but we did. But we fixed it. Hopefully that will be a nice little nugget for you. We swear, I know. We don't mean to, but we do. All right, that's it. Let's get in, talk about components. All right, so we're going to use, I created this nav and I forgot. Yours might be at the front because you're like, he left his nav behind there. We did that earlier in the course, so I'm going to click on this, just use my move to back button, which is just the first square bracket. Okay, and then I've got this. I'm just going to do it over here because it's a little bit clearer. All right, so I've got this nav that I made. Let's have a look at how it's made. So it's called nav bottom. Inside of it are some, what are these? Do you remember? Yep, these are main components. These are the bosses. Okay, these are the parents. So when I make copies of these, okay, they become instances of that boss. And the cool thing about it is when I adjust the main one, okay, I'm not sure what I'm going to do to it, but I'm going to wreck it. Can I do it from this distance? Can you see it there? It's doing it to both of them. Cool. So we know what components do. One of the things though is, let's say I want to turn this nav also into a main component, because I'm going to use it on lots of pages. I might as well control it all. Okay, let's see what happens. So I'm going to use my shortcut, Command Shift K. You are component. That is import image. That's Command Option K or Control Alt K. Okay, and what happened? It did become a main component, that's awesome, but it fired these out. Where did these come from? And this is what happens when I see other people's files, especially when they're kind of at the intermediate level, not quite advanced. You're like, they just leave these here, and what the heck did these happen? So the rule is you can't have main components nested inside of other main components. Because we turned the outside frame to main component, it went and coughed these out, okay? And left inside of here, can you see? These aren't the main components anymore. Look, they're just instances, the little diamond versions. So what we need to do is just be thoughtful of that. And what you'll find is that, let's zoom out a little bit. You'll see that this guy here, look, they're underneath there. I'm going to, what am I going to do? Yeah, let's fire them out. Okay, and what I'm going to do is find them. They're all there. Okay, let's drag them out. And we're going to put them on a components page. Okay, so I'm going to cut them and say, you guys now live on my sweet components page, which I don't have much of. Okay, you can keep them on the same document. There's no like law against it. But if when you're working on a bigger file, you really need a components page. Otherwise, you can just have them next to your design, just kind of like hanging out over here. All right, that's important thing number one. The other thing I want to show you is that this now is a main component. So clearly, what have I done? Ooh, like, what's wrong? Frozen? No, I accidentally hit the shortcut for lock layer. Can't even remember what it is. What is the locking layer shortcut? Please hold. Ooh, there it is there. Shift Command L. I didn't click that. I clicked something on my keyboard and it locked it. Anyway, so I've unlocked it. What I need to do is, I shouldn't really use this here either. I could leave it here. So that's, a lot of people will just leave this on their first page, okay, and then just make instances of it. Let's be clever, okay, and let's cut this. Let's go to our components panel. Let's put it in here. Okay, so this, oh, is even a bigger mess. What have I done here? You're there. What's it? Oh, I've got lots of these guys over top of each other. All right, I really want to just cut these out of the course, but these things will happen to you too. What the heck happened there? I'm going to undo, go back. There must have been so many guys all hanging out there. So let's go back to my hi-fi. Oh, where's your back? There you are. So what is this? There's just one of them. Copy and go to my components. Click paste. What did I do? Maybe I pasted them inside of these guys. I had them selected and went paste. That's what did. I don't know what happened there. If you know what I'm doing. Anyway, that happens. There you go. I had those selected. I just hit my regular paste and somehow, I'm saying it's a bug, but I got 3 of them. It pasted 1 for every icon that I had. Oh, it put an instance of it inside of every image. That is weird. All right, there you go. I learned something in this class. All right, let's start again. Shake it out, Dan. Shake it out. You ready? Forget all the getting lost. I was at Mobile Hi-Fi. I'm going to say you, my friend. I'm going to cut him, not copy him. That's probably where I went wrong. I'm going to go to components. I'm going to say you, nothing selected, paste him. Okay, this is where I'm going to keep this main component. Inside of this main component has a bunch of these instances of these guys at the top here. All right, we're doing good. Let's go back to mobile. Let's go to our assets panel and we should have created in this file under components. We should have, where is he? There, my bottom nav. Okay, so I'm going to stick this in. It should now be an instance. Okay, cool. Anything else weird we need to learn? There is, but I've been flustered. Okay, that's really it. What I want to do is I'm going to put one over here as well. Okay, and because it's responsive, we get to adjust it. Okay, the cool thing about instances of the main component, remember our main component's up here hanging out. These are just like children of them. They do whatever he says, but there are some small things we can do. I can say actually the selected colors in here, I want it to be white. Okay. They're still connected. If I go back to my main component and I say, where is he? This guy here, I say, everybody has some padding. Okay, so I want padding at the bottom. What I want to do is split the padding. So when it comes to nav, I like more at the bottom. Nice little chin. Let's go 24. And this one up here, let's go 16. Also going to want a background color. Okay, so I'm going to go give it a fill, slightly off white, just because I think it looks cool. And I'd like to have it, and I like to say you have an effect of drop shadow. I'd like it going not down, Okay, so 0, nothing going to the right. This is up and down, so I want this to be like -4. So it goes up. Can you see it there? And maybe the spread or the blur is a little bit more, maybe just a little bit less opacity. I've done this many times, I kind of know what I like without seeing it on the document. Let's go back to our mobile, and because we did it on our component, all of these adjusted. That's very cool. But you can see here, these remained white, which is also very cool. I could probably use that nav now, but I'm gonna select on that and say I want you to be this kind of darker color that I'm using. Haven't really ideally got that sorted out yet. All right, so main component is great. Don't put main components inside of other main components because they get spat out. You should probably keep them on a separate page, but you don't have to. And you can override instances with small things like color. I can't adjust the icon here. I have to go back to the main component, but I can change the color and some of the layout, and I can go, all right, ticketing, I want to go over here. I want to turn the eyeball off on this, and it reflows because we're awesome. It's still there. It's not turned off. It's impossible to turn anything or delete anything. If I click on this and hit delete on my keyboard, it just goes to sleep. Sleepy. All right, the last thing about components is something called constraints. You know about them, but let's look at some quirkiness. So this here, I'm going to move these guys up. At the moment, by default, okay, I drag this up, they disappear. I want it to stick to the bottom of the nav. So I'm going to say constraints, okay, I want it to be left and right, because at the moment it's not. Let's have a look. I think it's just doing left, so it's kind of stuck there. So I need to say you need to go left and right so that it is squishy. Okay, also I want it to stick to the bottom. Okay, so you are going to be constrained to the bottom. And you're like, I already know that, Dan. You're like, okay, but where is it now? Where are your lovely constraints? They've gone. I know. The constraints need to have a parent frame, otherwise they don't appear. So no constraints, watch this exact same thing inside of a parent frame. Constraints are back, okay? It doesn't even have to be a component. If I draw anything, a frame, okay, no constraints because it has no parent frame. He goes inside of here, boop, he's got constraints. Happy days. Okay, so that's one thing to remember. The other last little thing, I say the last thing, it's probably gonna be 20 more, is let's go back to my components page. You're like, oh, I might as well do that for him. So this guy, so I don't have to do it every single time. Okay, so you're like, all right, no constraints. Dan told us it needs a parent frame. So often you'll find all components inside this frame, even though they don't need to. Okay, so that you can see things like this. Look, he's stuck to the top and left. Okay, this does nothing. Let's say I make it top again and I change it to, so I want it to stick to the right. Okay, so it should do that. So I'm going to go to another page. Okay, let's go FU. It's not what I meant. F for frame. Click this. U. Why am I going to U? I think I'm just swearing at everybody. What's the U shortcut? Was it my brain? I got distracted by the FU. Oh, I was just saying U. Grabbing U. There you go. So I've got this new frame with bad language. So I'm going to grab my assets. I'm going to find the one called bottom and I'm going to stick them in. Stick them anywhere. And look, boop, he's in. He's top, which is the default, but watch, he didn't go right. So it doesn't really matter what you do. I don't know why. Check it now on your version. They might change that. It'd be great to set it as a kind of a default for the main component because, I don't know, feels like that's the reason for main components. But it doesn't work. Let me know if it does in the comments. You kind of have to do it afterwards. That's okay. Okay, top, bottom. Because once you've done it once, it's not too bad. Okay, because what often you grab him, okay, and you paste him, and he will bring that stuff along. Just not from the main component. All right, that was a fun one. We swore a little bit, we got lost and got really lost. Hope you found it useful. Components are easy, but also can have a few quirky bits, and that's the kind of quirky stuff I love sharing. All right, that is it. I'll see you in the next video. Oh, I'm gonna put rounded corners on stuff. That's all I'm gonna do, okay? You can go now. Yep. 8's a nice size for a phone. Actually, they need to look bigger for a phone. 24 is like more representative of kind of a modern phone, even a bit bigger. I like to see it in the design. You don't have to. If I undo that and I go back to square, obviously when I prototype it, it will go inside and be clipped off inside of a phone anyway. So you don't really need it, but using my arrows, okay, you can see there, they've got rounded corners, really big ones on the new iPhone. All right, that is all I wanted. I'm gonna go back to I'm gonna go back to my rounded corners. I'm gonna do that in the break. You go on to the next video. See you there. Hi everyone, in this video we're going to talk about what spacing to use. You can use anything you like, but whatever you decide on, okay, you can make this like little grid here, and it kind of gives you a nice little visual reference to go, all right, got the spacing here, what should it be? Let's use 32, okay, and I can make sure that this is 32 away. Currently it's 43. It's not good. Okay, so you can use it as just a visual guide of like, what should I use? And being consistent with your spacing. Okay, what I'll do is I will show you as well how to use an app to add all these like little measurements in or draw the boxes. It's fun. And we'll do it once and you can copy and paste this little guy onto every new job so it won't take any time in the future. All right, let's jump in. All right, let's start dragging them out. Once you've done it once, you can just copy and paste it for every future document forever. Okay, so I want this to be a nice bright color so I can see it as a visual reference. And I want my first one, the most fundamental size is 8 by 8, okay? And because I've got constraints turned on, okay, it means that I only have to type it in once, okay? And it will update both the height and width. Just saves a little bit of time. Okay, so 8's the first one. I'm gonna zoom in a little. Okay, and I want to see a visual representation of the next size, which is just another 8, okay, which is 16. Okay, then I want just to keep going up in 8s. Okay, I get a bit confused with maths in my head, so I just hit +8 in the field. Okay, we're at 24, I know that. Okay, 32. These are the really common sizes. You can keep going up, it's up to you. You can also do multiples of 6, okay, or 5. They're just harder to divide by and your developer will hate you because often the developer, okay, she'll be working with like a framework that already exists. And instead of her writing in all the noughts and zeros and 16 pixels, she'll go use the pre-made spacing and it will probably be 8 or a division of it. Depends how much you like your developer. Now I like to keep the spacing in there as well because I like these as like what size should my button be, icon be, image be. You get a sense for it by looking at these. The spacing I like to leave. If you zoom in far enough, oh, I can't see my pixels anymore. You used to be able to. I'm not sure if I turn mine off or it's off by default. You'll know because yours will either be on, you'll be able to see the little pixels in here. Okay, you can go up to view and you can go to pixel grid. Boop. Okay, and you can see them because I want to count 4 of them. Look, I got 4 there. That's the kind of minimum gaps for things. Obviously the minimus gap is 0. Minimus is not a word, Dan. And the next size is again going up. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 is a good one. Sorry, 8 is another one. People do use 6. I'm just giving you the general rules. People do put whatever they like. So 6 is, you'll see commonly. I'm going to stick to this 8 grid. How do I know? Instead of counting pixels, you can do a couple of things. If you've got, say, this selected, hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and just wander around, okay? You can see, it tells you the difference between all of these guys. 8, you did it. Or you can do this. You can say, you start there, and then I want this X position to go +16. Okay, so I want it to go 16 pixels across to see these gaps. Okay, this one here, do we want a 24 gap? We probably need one in between. So what I'm going to do is instead of going +16, I'm going, what did I go +16? Oh, I did, I wanted a different size in here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is undo that. Go back, please. I'm going to do +8 +4. Dan's making maths hard. This works in my brain. Okay, so I don't want to go the full 16. I want to go just 12. I'm going to go +12. Okay, it's a more reasonable size. It's still divisible, okay, by our 8s, kind of. You get me? Okay, and then this one could be the size of 16. So we're going to go U +16. You can keep going up with the sizes, but I like those. It's a good kind of just reference to have on every doc. Copy or paste it across so that you can start doing like, see this gap here? What should it be? Probably that one. No, maybe this one. Okay, maybe the gaps between this would be nice as that. Can you see it's just a visual reference? This might only be working in my head. One thing I want to do though is, I don't know what that is. I have to click on it. It says 32. It's not hard, but I'm going to show you a cool plugin. Okay, so I'm going to go down to my actions panel. Let's go to plugins. And there's this one called Design Doc. They're renaming it Spectral currently. I think they renamed it Spectral and then everybody didn't find it. So they went back to Design Doc. It might be called something different by the time you get here. There are lots that do this. This is not just one of them. It's the one I like. Is it the best one? I have no idea. I only use this one. Actually, there's one called Dimension, there's annotations, there's a few other ones. So you might just type in measurements and see what you get. If this one's no longer available, it's like the kiss of death if I add them to a class. As soon as I do a plugin, whoever made it dies or stops updating it at least. So let's run this one. I like this measure. It's got lots of other cool things it will do. Okay, but let's have a look at this one. Okay, so I'm going to go to this. I'm going to say, I would like you to put the height just above it. There you go. It's not temporary, it's there for good. Okay, you can see it in my layers panel. There's this container that has my measurements in it. I can turn it on and off. Okay, it's just really handy. Same with this one. Let's go, you need one of top as well. You too, please, top. And it's just a nice, cleaner way of being able to see what sizes you got. I'm probably gonna need a couple of bigger sizes. You can do the gaps between stuff as well. I can say you and you, let's do the space between. Oh, and it did it down the bottom. It's so clever. Okay, I like little apps like this. That is super helpful. And now, oh, forgot that one. You can have this, copy and paste it into the new document every time you start one, and then you've got a nice little visual cue of like where everything's going to be. What I like for this app is I like to put it inside of it creates all of this. It's quite messy. Oh, is it messy? I don't even know. I'm going to put it inside of a frame. Okay, and I'm going to put in, this one's going to be called, oh, it didn't all go in. Okay, the container really didn't want to go in. I think it's because it's locked. I can drag it in. You go in there, buddy. I'm the boss. Okay, and I'm going to call this one spacing. Just so I can close it up and it's a little bit nicer. So I can close it up. Oh, this is weird. All of it's there. I can't select on it because it's locked. And I can't, oh, there it is. Hello. Sorry about that. All right, let's make the background dark of the spacing one because it looks weird in white because I kind of designed it. Let's go black. Real high contrast. Now that's that app. We'll look at later on. I want to show you because like, I don't know, I can't help myself. I love that measurement app. Oh no, we'll do that later in the course, Dan. Don't do it now. All right, so those are the basic spacings. You can use anything you like. Whatever you do though, create a little grid, put the effort in once, and you will be able to use it over and over again. All right, next video. Hi everyone, let's talk just a tiny bit more about what spacing should be. I've given you some generic stuff in the last one. Where did I get that magic from? How do you get better at it? If you are already, quite proficient at your spacing, you can move on. But if you want a little bit of, help to make sure things are consistent and easy to work with your developer when you hand off your app, not causing problems, or at least being mindful of the developer and what they're going to be working with, watch this video. So there are lots of places that your app or website are going to end up, and what will end up happening is your engineer, your developer, whoever you're using to make it, it might be you. It's highly likely to be built on top of what's called a framework. Your developer, she's not going to be going through and putting all the noughts and zeros, okay? They're going to be building on top of things that are built on top of things that are built on top of things. So if you're an iOS developer, okay, the developer is going to be using the pre-made or at least guidelines from Apple. If it's Android, it's going to be this material. That's what they call their design system. And they give you lots of helpful things about how things should be spaced apart. If you're going to web, it might be Bootstrap, it might be Tailwind. So talk to your developer, figure out where it's going, what they're building it on, and then have a little read around. It can be confusing, but we need to get started in these sorts of things so that you can actually, begin your understanding of maybe a little bit of CSS, a little bit of code, so that you don't throw your developer spacing of 7, because 7 is tricky because you can't divide it in half. Okay, you can't have a half a pixel. You can divide 8 in half. You can have 4 pixels. So let's have a little look at why 8 is good as well. So let's look at material for Android. Okay, I'm in their material.io. They're on their version 3. In the future, you might be at version 4 or 5. Check it out. Okay, I'm under foundations. I'm looking at layout, understanding layout, and it's just really nice to go through and say space between columns is a default of 24 dp, okay, which is essentially pixels, short for device independent pixels. They use this because lots of different phones have different pixel densities. Just consider it pixels if you understand that. And when you're designing in Figma, dp equals px. So they're using spacing of 24. So make sure when you're building out your little spacer block and you're going to Android first, make your gap 24. That's the default. It's happily divisible by 8, not by chance. Or at least it's a really common spacing for the moment. Let's have a look at iOS. Have a read through what they do. I think they're using 20 for their margins on their sides. They have some different defaults to a lot of other ones. And the thing with iOS is there is both phone, there is TV, there is gadgets, okay, there is watches. So have a little look. Whatever you're designing for, there will be documentation online. If you're going out to web, say you're building a website or a web app, find out, is it WordPress? Is WordPress using Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a framework that helps developers work fast, okay, and what they'll end up doing is, let's have a little look. I found this, okay, the gutters is what they call it, okay, the space between stuff, and the default gutters are 1.5 rem, and you can see there they said 24 pixels, the same as material. So if I use 24 as my spacing, the developer's going to like it because it's kind of consistent with Bootstrap and it's consistent with Android depending on where you're going. Now there are 100 different frameworks. Tailwinds, people are using this a lot, okay, to help with their styling. You can see in here I found under gap, okay, Bootstrap calls it gutter, Tailwind calls it gap. It's all useful to know as a UI designer. You can see here what a developer will type in is they won't actually type in the number. They'll just hopefully be close to one of these. So they'll put in spacing when they're coding to say gap is 0, which is 0. Gap is 1, which is 0.25 of a rem. A rem by default is 16. So 0.25 of 16 is 4 pixels. So remember that little spacing we had before? That's the minimum one here. And it's a good rule to not go 3. You know, the divisions become tricky and your developer's going to have to go and override a lot of the framework defaults. You can do it, but your developer will probably just ignore it and use some of the defaults unless you force them. Okay, let's have a look. So 16, 6, 8, 10. Oh, there's a 10. You might decide that in your design that you need a 10. Where was it? We don't have a 10. We've got 4, 6, 8, 12. There's no real hard and fast rules on what these can be. But if you design for frameworks or understand them a little bit, especially if you know where it's going, if you know the developer uses Tailwind, great. Type out all of these. So the big takeaways is multiples of 8 are good, but really you should check out how it's getting made and copy that. It'll make the transition from Figma to the actual design and development a lot smoother. And you don't have to, but I've got a Web Essentials as well, which covers a lot of the kind of things that we look at here, like what is a rem? What is a DP? What is Bootstrap? What is Flexbox? There's all sorts of good stuff that you can learn that will inform your design when you're in Figma. But kind of outside of the scope of this course, but a little bit of HTML and CSS and framework knowledge makes you a better UX designer, in my opinion. All right, was that confusing? A little meandering. Anyway, let's get on to some more hard skills in Figma. It's class project time. We're gonna make the lower navigation. We've already done it if you've been following along. I just want to kind of get everyone up to here. Okay, so what I want you to do, create the lower nav. Okay, it's this guy here. Okay, and I want it to do some stuff. Okay, and we're just gonna practice the things we've already learned. So I want it to make sure you're using components, both the icons, okay, and the nav. What does that mean? Okay, this thing here is an instance of my main component, which is over here. I want you to do that. These are main components of my icons. So make sure you're doing that just to kind of practice. You have to use an auto layout for your navigation so that you can do auto spacing between the items. That just means that when I grab this, this squishes up and the icons have automatic spacing that go in and out. So auto layout around the outside and make sure you can set up the auto between them. And the last one on there is constraints. Constraints allows us to do this with the navigation. I want you to stick it to the bottom and left and right so that when we do pick a new page, actually let's go to this one, and not a new page, but let's say we need to do a different frame size because we're doing, I don't know, the old iPhone 13. Look, it shrunk. There's not that much difference. That was exciting. But you can see it attaches to the bottom and to the sides. Okay, that's the constraints part. Do all of those, okay, and then I want you to record a video of you doing this thing, going like this on one of your pages, okay, so that we can see you made it work. If you can't record videos because it's just too hard and you can't make it happen, I will accept screenshots. I'll trust you that it works. Maybe take a screenshot of this, plus we can see all of the things going on over here. We're like, I can see the constraints and they seem to be working. I'd love to see videos though. If you're not sure how to take a video on your computer, okay, most Macs and PCs have built-in software. Mac call it image capture. You can do it with that. I use Camtasia. You can use QuickTime, which is free on both Mac and PC. There are plugins inside of Figma, which are interesting. You can go to the plugins, okay, and there is one, the one that I've used before is Vimeo, okay, Vimeo. Vimeo Record will allow you to log in and you have to get a free account with them, but you will be able to record your screen within the app. There will be other plugins as well. Cool. When you're uploading it, we want the link to the video, not the actual video itself. We can't take the big giant MP4s, okay, so upload it to either Vimeo, Behance, or YouTube, okay, with free accounts and just send the link in. All right, the real goal here is not so much making videos, it's getting this responsive lower nav going. I want you to practice with that and I'll see you in the next video. It's another class project. Didn't we just do a class project? We did. This one's kind of like a pick a path, do it yourself. Okay, I'm going to get you to build a responsive event card that does this on your own. I want you to create this thing, all responsive and good. Okay, so the date's stuck up in the corner, bit of text, an image. Ooh. And I'm just going to leave you to it. I find these little projects are some of the best for people learning where you've got all the tools. I've taught you everything you need to know, but actually making something of your own, okay, that's not like following along can be both tricky and kind of like bed all the skills and you're like, oh, okay. Because there's a couple of ways of tackling this. Because there is, and it can be tricky depending on your level of Figma skills, there's a video just after this of me building it. So if you do get lost, you can cut to the chase and see me building it. Do it yourself though, and then see where you got to. Like it's a challenge. I challenge you. See if you can do it. Your way might be different from mine. You might get lost. That's totally cool. I bet you though, you'll learn a ton. When you're finished, share a video of your responsiveness. Okay, this right-hand side here, because I want the text to expand and contract. Okay, making the box bigger. Doesn't have to be exactly like this. Pick your own image. Again, I'm trying to find pictures of me. Middle age is probably too old for me, but I'm not this guy either. I don't mind about the text and everything. It's more the structure. So an image in there, a date box that sticks to the top right. Okay, remember that's constraints. Event details, make sure it's a component. Okay, and then the deliverables is a video. If you can't do the videos, a screenshot. This is a cool one where you can share on socials. Make sure you use the hashtag Figma Advanced and tag me in it so I can check it out. All right, that is it. Have fun making your own event card. See you in the next video. Hello, this video is my version of how I made this thing work. Okay, you can follow along to see how close yours was to mine. It doesn't really matter how you got to the end result, but if you did get stuck, and you're still currently stuck, you can watch me. We do get a little lost in this video. There's a few little shortcuts. So even if you did get it and it was pretty easy, skim through this one, maybe turn the speed up. And there's nuggets in here. That's what I'm saying. All right, so there's no real rule of where to start. And there is a couple of different ways of doing this. I'm gonna show you the way I did. When I do it with students in class, people find other ways of doing this. So you don't worry if yours is a little different. I'm gonna start with my top frame here, the image with the date in it. And I'll work on the text later on. Okay, so I'm gonna give it a fill just so that we can see what we're doing. Pick any color, as long as it's a green or aqua. And so what I wanna do is put another frame inside of this, pick another color, something clear, okay, and I'm gonna say you, go in there, and within this frame, I wanna say you, just need to be constrained to the top and the right. And now, hopefully, we've got that chunk going. Okay, that's kind of the first part. This bottom part, ooh, how do we do that? Now, you don't really want to put it in here. I want it to be in a separate box because it needs to do something different. So I'm going to make a new box. Okay, I'm going to say this is a dark color for no reason. Okay, and I'm going to put some text inside of it. Just throw the elements in. All right, I'm just throwing in text. Okay, there's a couple of things I need to do. I need this to maybe be the right size. Okay, that's the first good step. I want this text to break inside of here. So I want to say you are not this kind of auto width or fixed size. I want this middle one, auto height. And then I'm going to break it and say you go there. Perfect. But when I resize this, nothing's happening because this guy needs to be an auto layout. Okay, so I'm going to say you, Shift A. He's wrapped all the way around the outside. Perfect. So now we've got a little bit of responsive text going on. It's not working. The text in here now, okay, is the auto height, but we need the width to change based on his parent or the container. So let's have a look at the width. It's got a fixed width. I don't want a fixed width. I want to say, I would like you to fill the container, please. Okay. Now, if the container change, he tries to fill it. There you go. So I've got these two bits and you could leave them separate, but that would be weird. So what we want to do now is put both of these together inside their own frame. Both selected. I'm going to say you, frame those guys. Okay, let's give it a name so we're not getting too lost. Actually, let's see how good the auto naming goes. So let's go you, let's go to rename. There it is there, rename layers. Just see what it does. It gets better and better. I betcha, oh, container, footer. Oh, it's done good. Container. Let's call this one image. Okay, and it's thought that was the image, but it's not. This is the date. They got close. It's a good starter anyway. Oh, I do like it. Okay, so I got a container inside of it. I got those two boxes that I made. Let's have a look and just keep testing every time. Grab the parent. Does it all work? It does not. Why? It's because it's not an auto layout. So this container, auto layout, please. Let's give it a go. Let's see what it did. Okay, we're building it ourselves. We're not using the make do it all for us AI feature. Okay, it's kind of working, except the bottom doesn't go up and down. Okay, so what I want to do is probably want to leave this image box here alone. And I just want the text box down the bottom to come down. So what I'm going to do is you need to do what? You need to fill a container. Okay, so you, it's the height this time. Okay, so the width we did, but we didn't bother about the height. Now, we don't want you to hug. No hugs here, buddy. We're going for fill container. And I want you to fill it, but I want you to stick to the top, please. So look, grab the parent. What are we doing here? Oh, it worked. All right, let's put in some more details and just see if we break it. Okay, but that's kind of the fundamentals. What people tend to do, and I do, there's no real like hardcore way of doing it is you start with the parent, then you start working with those blocks in between, and then put another block in here for the date. You can do it that way. It's a little bit more complicated when you're new. Okay, if you tackle it that way and you found it really frustrating, try and do the individual pieces first, then combine them. But it doesn't really matter if you try and build the container frame first and then start building stuff inside. It's a little trickier. All right, I want this to be an image. So I can't just plop an image in here because that's over the top. So I'm going to go Command-Shift-K to bring in my image, Control-Shift-K on a PC. You know, I know you know. I'm going to bring this in. And what I want to do is I want to grab actually I could have selected the frame and brought it in as a fill. I've done it a different way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab this, steal the fill off this, copy, grab the green one, hit paste. I don't need this green one anymore. And hopefully, remember, test, always testing. Is it working? It is working. Cool, nice. The next is this text down the bottom here. I'm just going to replace this with Command K. I'm going to say rewrite this, and I'm going to type in something with a more sing-song rhythm. I don't know what that is. Let's go for, all right, I'm not sure what this is going to do. Command Enter to kind of make the AI stuff do it. Sometimes now you need to go make shorter. So if you need to make changes, I think that's long enough. Let's go make shorter because I'm going to use a smaller font. If you don't have the AI and you wish you had the AI, you can just go out to the free ChatGPT, okay, or just type in anything you like. All right, font size, I'm going to go to 16. You can leave now, I don't know. If I'm going to run into problems, maybe I will. Okay, one thing that happened there is you notice that there was no padding. Okay, so I did make this bigger and this didn't expand. It kind of still works. Look, it's all scalable, but yeah, it didn't push it out to the bottom. Who knows why? A couple of things. First of all, I want to make this guy auto height. Okay, and also his parent. Okay, the parent frame is kind of working. Okay, but the padding's really small. Okay, so I'm going to say over here in the padding, 24 is great on the sides. I want the top and the bottom to be different. I'll give you a little shortcut for anybody who's hung out this long. So on the top, let's say I want it to be 24. Okay, but then you can put a little comma in. Just comma on your keyboard. So that's the top. And if you put a comma in, you'll be able to do the bottom to 32. That 100% kind of worked. I've got 24 at the top, 32. Okay, but my text in here is not doing what it should. The height of this guy. So the height of this fella, is filling the parent container. My parent container is not big enough for the text. Oh, come on, Dan. So that trick did work. Can you see? I've got 32 at the bottom, 24 at the top. You can do the same for left and right. You can just add commas. It just saves you from not really doing much, is opening that out. You can just use commas. You're a computer hacker. You're welcome. All right, other things that are going to cause me problems is I want this height to kind of just, as I type, to go like this. Is it doing it? It's not. And that's only because I keep dragging it around to kind of prove it works. I want this here to snap to the bottom. So in terms of the height, there's a couple of things to do. You see it says fill container. So it should be doing it. Okay, but this parent, there we go, click off, click back on. This parent is a fixed height. He's a height of 330. He's forcing this to be bigger. Okay, so I can say, actually, I just want to hug the contents. Actually, you have a height now of, I want you to hug the contents too. It can be a little weird setting these things up. So now what I'm looking for is this. When I type stuff, and it gets longer, it gets bigger. Awesome. And if I go out and grab the parent now, and it goes onto a bigger document, okay, I can just drag it out. Look at me. How far away from the edges? What I might do is turn on my guide. So let's go to the parent. Let's go down here, layout guides. We did it in the essentials course. Let's throw it in here again. Add layout guide. I don't want grids. I want columns. I'm going to click on this. And how many columns do I want? I just want one, but I want the margins on the edges to be 16, 24. Okay, you can see the edges here. You might just use it for this, just so that everything starts lining up. Yep. Snap. Nice. The shortcut for guides is Shift G, turns them on and off. Okay, and we did it. Needs rounded corners. Parent, you're going to say, where are your rounded corners? Rounded corners. 8, no, 16, something like that. Oh, it didn't work. Why don't you have 16 corner radius? Please hold. I've got to figure this out. What are your radiuses? I think I know what it is. Let's jump back in so I can prove to you I've done it. So let's go clip contents. That was a good one. I don't know how it didn't end up with clip contents. There you go. Okay, so let's go to 16. That's way too big. I'm going to go to 12. Even though I said use multiples of 8, you can do what you want. This is our design, 10. All right, so that was a nice little interesting one. Clip contents was off, so everything is kind of hanging outside, whereas now I want to say everything inside that main component. It's not a main component. You are going to come over here. I'm going to turn you into main component. which I can't remember what the shortcut is right now. Oh, what are you? That's right, Command Option K. That's Control Alt K on a PC. Sometimes we all forget. So that is my main component, and I'm going to use that. And this guy needs to go cut. You need to go over to my components page. You can hang out over here. Okay, you can go there. You can go there. Boop. We did it. It's very exciting. You can go away now. All right, I'm very happy with myself. You might have done it a completely different way. You might have spent half a day working on yours, but you kind of get it now. I guess I like these little exercises. They're like something. Oh, you didn't do the date. Should we do the date? Actually, there's nothing to the date. You just throw the text in. 1, 2, 3. All right, so just type some text. I am going to throw it in here. And you didn't go in the right place. Get in there. Okay, and I'm going to select March and go Command B or Control B to make it bold. Look at us. Check it still works. It does not work. It's not in the right one. So you are hanging outside of all of this. Why couldn't I do that? It's because I'm trying to add text to, what is it? Pause? You think? It's an instance of the main component, not the actual one itself. So that's a good tip, okay, is that actually you can't add stuff to instances. Okay, you have to go over here and say, let's paste it in there. Okay, now it should appear on all of them. Go back to the mobile phone and the text is there. The only trouble now is that I did that that's pink and this one here is green. Okay, what I can do for that, I was able to do this on the instance, right? Change the rounded corners and make it green. What you can do is select the whole instance, right click it and say, actually everything that I've changed, can you go to the main component and push these changes onto it? And let's go see, onto our component. We did it, look at us. Why can't we just grab it all and go to this option that we looked at before? Okay, remember the AI version, okay, where we said you, and go, all right, let's go to more auto layout options. Let's go to suggest it, and it didn't work, that's why. It can work sometimes, and when it doesn't, you need to know the skills of kind of trudging through and making it. But I do like the problem solvingness of doing something like this. I feel like I've made something in the world, even if it is just little adjustable pixels. All right, that is it. That's how I did it. I'd be interested to know in the comments how you did it. Was anything completely different? Did everybody do it different from me? That's what I'd like to see. Also, give me a time. How long did it take you? Did it take you 10 minutes? 5 minutes? 5 hours? Let's have a look. It's okay. I'm just interested. I'll see you at 1 a.m. I'll be sleeping. Hi everyone, we're going to make a really simple variant. Okay, you might have made one before. We're just going to run through it just so that everyone's got a good baseline. Okay, it means, first of all, if you haven't bumped into a variant or it's been a long time since you did the Essentials course, this button here, okay, over here you can say, actually, I want to be watermelon. What's really cool about it is in, say, my assets panel, okay, you see I've just got one button, but in that button, okay, he's got 2 variants. Okay, keep it nice and tidy, and it's going to give us the skills to build multi-dimensional variants in the next one. Very serious. All right, let's jump in. Let's make a variant. All right, so I'm going to start with a button that I've made. I'll make this button at the end of the video if you're interested, but any old button. Okay, there's nothing to it but a frame, but some text in it. And it's an auto layout. None of that is actually important for a variant. Okay, all we need to do now is make sure that it is a component. So let's do that. Command Option K on a Mac, Command Alt K on a PC. You're getting it. Okay, or you can click the button up here. Boosh. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to say, actually, I would like another variant of it. See this little option here? It says I want 2 of them. I got a variant. They're too similar, so it's technically a variant, but let's change the color of this bottom one. So I'm going to click the parent frame. I'm going to say, scroll down, fill color. I'm going to pick that kind of watermelon color we're using. And now we have a variant. We need to go and name it, but that is it. Let's go and have a look. We should be doing this. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to go to my components page. You should be on here, buddy. Let's do everything right. Okay. This is called a component set. See the dotted line around the outside? Figma calls it component set. Don't worry about it, but it will pop up. There's a one component, put more than one of them in there, which is his variant, okay, isn't something called a component set. Lots of terms. That's okay. All right, let's go to our Hi-Fi mobile. Let's go to our assets panel. Shortcut that we'll start using from now on is if you hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 is easy to get from File to Assets. What is it? Option 1 and 2, 1 and 2, or Alt 1 and 2. Let's go to the Assets panel. Let's have a look at the files in this library. Let's go to the ones in our component panel. Excellent. There's our button. Drag him out. And the cool thing about him is he's got a variant over here. Default? Nope. I want the other one. Oh, cool, huh? Variants are awesome. What we should do now though is go back to our Option or Alt 1, back to our layers. Okay, files. Okay, I'm going to go to my components and I'm going to say let's do some naming. So let's select the whole, what is it called? You remember what the dotted lines mean? Component set. You got it. So with this selected up here, I've got a bunch of properties that I can rename. So it's just giving them default stuff. Click on this little settings as an edit property. That's what it is. Click on that and let's name it. So this one's going to be called my button. Okay, and I've got a couple of values. Okay, go back in there. I've got a couple of values. Actually, the name of this is not button, it is color. Okay, so we're naming our variant, not the name of the actual button. We already did that. So I want to call this variant different color variants. Oh, I keep jumping off that one. Where it says default, I want one to be, let's say, green, and the other one to be watermelon. Okay, then nothing really changes except when I'm back on my mobile hi-fi, I click on this, it makes a little sense. Look, I got color. Okay, and I've got green or watermelon. This makes it easier for somebody else using it and for you. Come on, let's name stuff. Mr. Untitled 57, or in this case, Frame 57. Dan likes to throw shade on people, even though he's got really poorly named stuff when he's working on his own. Shh, don't tell anyone. All right, so that's how to build a really simple variant inside of Figma. Let's go and create the button now, if you're interested. If you know how to make a button, which you probably do, move on to the next video, but I'm going to build it together. Let's hang out. All right, we're going to do that all again. So we are going to make the button, but I just recorded it with the microphone off. Let's do it again. I love doing it twice. All right, let's grab the frame tool. Draw out any old size. Let's give it a color of the button we want to use. I'm going to use that. We should start doing some color styles soon because there's a couple of greens going on, Dan. I'm going to grab the F tool. Nope, I'm going to grab the type tool, which is the T key. Click on the inside anywhere and just type in button. I'm using uppercase and I'm using a roboto condensed bold. A really common button size is 16. Okay, it's easily seen. It's just super common. Okay, now I should line it up in the middle. I hit escape to get out of the type tool. I should line it up in the middle, but what I can do is just click the parent frame. So I've got this frame here, which I will call button, lowercase button. Okay, with it selected, the parent with the text inside of it, if I just go Shift A, okay, it will turn into auto layout. And by default, you can see it's gonna hug around the text, which is perfect. Hugging is perfect, okay, because it means that we get to type more. And you see the button expands. Okay, so awesome. The one thing though is it defaulted to some random padding based on the original size. So in terms of the padding I want to do, starts with the width, so 24. I'm going to tab across and hit 8 for the top and bottom. Here's my little button. Down here for the corner radius, I can use my up arrow. Look, go up, 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 up. If you want it to be perfectly round, you just got to be above whenever the radiuses start going away. Let me zoom it down here. Can you see what I mean? You get what I mean, right? Like if I made that 16, you'd be like, well, it's kind of round. Okay, but if I made that 100, it is massively round and has to be the perfect circle. So just put in some giant number and it will be rounded at the ends. That's how I made it, just in case you were interested. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Hello! Hey, we are going to learn in this video multi-dimensional variants, okay? They are fancy, mostly because I do it in that voice, okay? But they allow us to take variants to the next level, okay? All the voices. It means that this button not just has one variant, okay, like color, we've got multi-dimensional variants. That is a fancy word, that's what they call it, okay? But it just means I've got two different things. I can go, I want it to be green, but I also want it to be outlined. This thing here, okay, it is one lovely little asset. You see him there, the button zoom? You drag him out, but he's got all sorts of stuff. He's got both different colors and he's got different values. Having more than one property just means it's multi-dimensional. Not as fancy as it sounds. But let's just go and build one. All right, go time. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the simple variant we made in the last video and build on it to make it multi-dimensional. All we need to do is, guess what? It is kind of multi-dimensional now, okay? We've got a third option, okay? So those are actually just 3 variants. What we wanna do is, let's change this one a little bit, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna fast mode, I'm just gonna make it a outline. Okay, I'm gonna make another one. To make another one again, you can either hit this little plus button. There is an option up here. No, there's one of them. No, I'm sure there's a button up there as well. So either hit that button or Control D. I don't think you can copy and paste them. No, for some reason you can't copy and paste them. There we go, Command D. I'm gonna change this color as well. You wait there. All right, so I've got these. I could just leave them as that, and when I'm using them, I can grab them out and go, all right, I've got all of these different options. But what I'm gonna do is make it multi-dimensional. What that means is that I'm gonna grab my component set and I'm gonna say, I've got one property. I wanna add another one, okay? I'm gonna add another variant, okay? This one is gonna be called fill. I was just trying to think there what it could be called. And the default value is going to be solid. What we're trying to get to here is when I select on this, I'm going to say you, my friend, are both green and solid. You are watermelon and solid. You are going to be green, but also add a new one. You're going to be outline. Okay, so that one is both that first property we did, and this is the extra dimensional. Okay, multi-dimensional, but you got to say it like this, multi-dimensional. Okay, so we got color, we're fill, we're hardcore. This one here, what are you? You are color 4, nope, you're watermelon, and you are going to be outline. What that means now is that when I grab this nice simple button, remember on an assets panel, optional alt 2, okay, 1, 2, switch the assets panel. This like lovely little button here, if I drag him out, he's multi-dimensional. Okay, he's got color and he's got fill. So I'm going to say you, watermelon, but I want the outline one. Go away. I was scared of doing multi-dimensional variants for a long time. It sounded scary. Multi-dimensional anything sounds hard. Okay, and it is tricky. Like I'm trying to like be calm, give it to you. It's really easy. But when you do it for the first time, you're like, this doesn't make sense. Okay, what I tend to do is kind of like smash through it until you've got at least 4 of these. Then forget trying to do fancy stuff and just come up here and just make sure there's 2 properties first. Okay, and then work through every button and go, all right, I want you to go through this list. And if there's not something you want in here, just click add new. Okay, same down here. You're like, okay, I don't need to be green. There's a 3rd color, so I'm going to add a 3rd color. Okay, or it's the right color, but there's nothing down here, so I need to add a property. Okay, if there's no if you do have the right property and you're like, all right, I need it to be, add a new one of these. That is generally the easiest way. And I want you to finish there, leave there, feel confident. And now I'm going to give you a more advanced way because we're in the advanced course. There is another way to do it. It might be easier for you. If you're like, man, that blew my brain. Or you may be like, I love doing it 2 ways. Why learn to do it once? So what I've done here is I've just made a circle with a plus in it. If you do need the plus and minus buttons, often it's better instead of trying to find a symbol is find a font that you'd like the plus in. I often use this one here called Days 1. Okay, but you can see I can go through and find a plus that I like. You might like that plus better than that plus. Okay, and what you can do then is you can right click it and go to outline. Where is it? Ooh, outline stroke. Okay, and then it's just like a square. You can't change the font, so you need to probably do this first and go I need yep. Okay, and then outline it. Or who remembers the sweet shortcut from earlier? Okay, if we do a dash and then a greater than, we get an arrow. Days 1 arrow is not very good. Anybody else got a better arrow? We've all got different styles. Let's get that out of the way. Can you see? Can work through and see who does a better arrow. Just using fonts. Of course, you can go to some sort of icon library somewhere. That'll work too. Then it's stuck in the middle. All right, that was a little tangent. So the reason I want to show you this is I'm going to put you guys down there because I'll use you later, is I've got these 2, okay? So we create a variant, but what we can do is instead of doing what we did where we built a first variant, then we made duplicates and then kind of split them all up, what we can do is we can say, all right, I want these 2, and you just build them all first. So I want these 2 to be eyedropper. So I've got all these first. These all need to be their own components. One of the big problems is that I haven't grouped these. Okay, so if I do make multiple components here, okay, I'll show you this because you'll do it. You'll go, all right, I'm going to make, what are we going to do? We're going to make multiple components. Boop. Okay, and now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 components. Let's undo that. So what I'm going to do is either group these first, group, 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 group. Actually, I'm going to show you one way. Getting you too distracted. Okay, now I can create multiple components. The other way is you just make them one at a time. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I've got all these. I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to say combine as variants. Why don't we just do it that way, Dan? Ooh, that is actually probably just easier, isn't it? It still gets messy. So we're at this point. Okay, it wasn't hard to kind of design this. It's not hard to get to this point. The next part was what we want is we need a couple of properties. So we've got 1. Let's double click property 1, and we're going to call this one color. Ooh, color. Okay, and I'm going to have another property. It's going to be a variant, and I'm going to call this one. What do you call plus or negative? Sometimes my brain doesn't work. You just type in value. Okay, and I'm going to create that property. If you're unsure what it is, the value is something. It's a good generic catch-all. So now let's click on this. You are a color of group 1. Nope, let's call it, rename it. Let's call this one green. It's greenish. Okay, and it is a value of, we're going to call this one default. There's going to call this one plus or positive. I don't know whether we should use the plus symbol or write the word positive. I'm not sure what is easier. Okay, this one here though is what? A color of, it's going to be green. green, and it's going to have a value of, we don't have a minus, so we're going to add a new one, and we're going to say you are minus, my friend. And just work our way through. Okay, this one here, color of group 2. That's not a really good name. Let's call it watermelon. And a value of, all right, we've got a positive. Now this one here should be easy because we've got watermelon and we've got a value of negative. All right, same thing. Have a little think, practice with both of them and just see which you like the option, you know, which one do you think is better? Go to my assets panel. The cool thing about it again, oh, probably needs a better name. Okay, can I do it over here? Nope, can't do it over here. You must be able to. Anyway, let's go to Option or Alt 1. Back to our files. Let's go to Components. You have a terrible name called Component 1. You can either name it over here, okay, or you can name it over here. What is this? This one's going to be button. Can't think of what to name it. Can't call it value. Please hold. I can't think of a word. I'm calling it zoom. In outie. Anyway. So there's a better name for it. Let's go back to our high fidelity mobile. Let's go to Option or Alt 2 to go to our assets panel. Drag out my button zoom. Okay, and we're going to say multi-dimensional. Look at us. All right, so the big version is it doesn't matter how you get there, but you just need a component set. Then you just kind of work your way through over here, adding different values, adding different variants, okay, different properties, and then within there, kind of giving them better names as you go through. And it doesn't matter whether you, like here, start with them already made, okay, and work them up that way, or start with one and just keep duplicating them and adding the values. Either way, I end up doing it this way for some reason. I don't know why, but you might like it this way. All right, that is multi-dimensional components. Feeling good? Feeling advanced? This is advanced stuff. And now the cool thing about this is that you will find other people's libraries that will have these and you'll know what the dotted lines mean. You won't remember what they're called, but you know what they do. You'll be like, oh, I can grab one of these and go, all right, it's got multi-dimensions. Nice. It's got lots of different variables. Fancy. All right, that is it. Let's go on to the next video.
No, it's the end. But don't worry. If you want to keep hanging out, you enjoying this, this is only like the first chunk of the Figma Advanced course, like the first 25%. There is like another 75 videos, okay? We will really get cooking in Figma. So if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description. The cool thing about the full course is that there are additional stuff. So there's stuff you get like quiz questions, okay, to kind of help cement the knowledge, kind of test you as you go through, but it's not a test. More cementing your knowledge. There's also the class projects, okay, that we're making here. There's more of them, and there's a place to submit them to get feedback, both from students and from me and the experts. Also, what else is there? The all-important certificate. So complete the course, do the quiz, and there's a final class project, and you will get the Figma Advanced certificate. If you're not ready for the full course, it's okay. The thing I want though is a like. Give me a like. And subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this. I give away loads of free stuff here on YouTube. If you do sign up for the Figma Advanced course, the other cool thing about it is it gives you access to all of my other courses. So I've got courses on Illustrator, okay, so essentials and advanced for all of these. There is InDesign, Photoshop, what else we got? Premiere Pro, After Effects, we've got Canva, DaVinci, Procreate, Blender, did I say that? I'm not sure. I've got a list over here, definitely not reading from it. Affinity, there's an animation course, color theory, Webflow. We're trying to add a new course every month or two. So the cool thing about it is that one price for Figma Advanced gives you access to all of those courses. Seems really reasonable. Just check it out and see what you think. Yeah, that is going to be it. I hope to see you in the full course. But if I don't, life is long. I'll probably bump into you again. And the cool thing about design is that there is a lot to learn. Lots of fun, interesting things. So we'll probably cross paths again. That's going to be it though. Ha-da-da. Goodbye.